Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode is brought to you by G2 Paintball. G2 Paintball is back, and you guys should be incredibly excited. If you are in the area, in Arizona or anywhere on the West Coast, you want to make sure you do not miss this. Being in paintball shape is one of the most important things to being a top-level player. Not just a top-level pro, but a top-level player in any division. If you are trying to win tournaments, you want to be in the best physical condition possible. Paintball is so physically demanding. It requires so much of your physical ability, and G2 Paintball is designed to help you maximize that potential both on and off the field. G2 Paintball played a huge role in our World Cup win. It pays dividends to get out there and do these exercises, do these kinds of training. It is so difficult. It is very tough, but it is going to put you in position to win events, and that's what we're here to do. I teach this at all of my clinics. I always preach the importance of physical fitness in paintball ability. You can get all the way to the finals, but if you are only at 60% and a less talented, less skilled, less experienced team is at 90 or 100%, they are likely going to beat you. Do not let your physical ability be the reason you guys are not winning events. Get signed up for G2. If you guys are in the area, make sure you get active, get involved. It is owned and operated by Victor Gamboa and Rusty Glaze. You have players like Tyler Harmon, myself, Ryan Greenspan, all part of the entire G2 program. You guys can stay up to date with everything at g2paintball.com, and we hope to see you at an event very soon. We are brought to you by Heal Brand. Heal Brand is the best CBD company that we have ever come across. I've been taking CBD products for years now, and I absolutely love it. But Heal Brand has taken my CBD consumption level to the next tier. This stuff is really the luxurious, high-quality, best brand that you're going to come across. Their whole claim to fame is the nanotechnology. It's the real deal. The claim is that through their nanotechnology, the CBD can actually break through the cellular wall and get into the bloodstream much faster and more efficiently. So you need less to do more. Often CBD products, you'll need to take it for a couple weeks before you really start noticing all of the benefits. With this stuff, as soon as you take it, you notice it right away. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're feeling the benefits of CBD. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, sleeping, all sorts of different stuff. CBD is really exploding on the scene because it has such a wide variety of benefits. I personally love to use CBD before I go to bed so I can get a full, well-rested night of sleep. Sleep is so crucial. It's so important. If you want to recover well, if you want to fight off depression and anxiety and those unwanted emotions, proper sleep is where you need to start. CBD products really help me do that, and Heal Brand CBD has a wide variety of options of different products, different formulas. It is all natural. It's amazing. This stuff is fantastic. You guys can head over to healbrand.com, check them out, and there is an exclusive offer to all of our PTG listeners. If you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you'll get 10% off. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. Transfuse is the only all-natural electrolyte drink that you guys need to have in your cabinets. We love this stuff. We've been using this for an entire season now. This stuff is amazing. I feel great when I drink Transfuse. I drink it every single day. I don't go a day without putting a packet of Transfuse in my water. It's very easy, very portable, easy to travel with, and delicious to drink, which means that you're going to love drinking it and you're going to drink more of it, which is going to be incredibly beneficial to your health. Has magnesium, potassium, sodium, which are all amazing for proper hydration. It has zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B, and choline. These things are incredible cognitive enhancers and immune boosting formulas that you don't want to miss out on, especially in times like this. I'm telling you, I drink Transfuse every single day. I love it. Tyler does as well. Anybody who has tried it has been just pouring with great feedback back to us. There's a reason that they're at all the NXL events, and a lot of the top teams and top professionals are using this product. Do not walk around dehydrated. I never realized how dehydrated I was, even when I was drinking all sorts of water. It's not enough. You need the proper nutrition. You need the right ingredients. Transfuse has done a great job of curating the perfect formula. Transfuse is absolutely spectacular, and for all of our listeners, there is a special deal for any Play the Game listener. If you head over to translabs.com, that's translabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will get 10% off. If you subscribe, which means they auto ship you your package every single month, whatever you want, whatever type, whatever flavor, whatever electrolyte formula you desire, they will give you an additional 11% off. So it becomes a 21% discount exclusively for all Play the Game listeners. Huge shout out, and we are incredibly thankful for our supporters And if you guys would like to go support them, it's translabs.com. Use code Play the Game. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. Lone Wolf Paintball is an online supplier that has been around for a very long time. They've actually been Michigan's premier paintball field and supplier since 1987. Now expanding into the online retail store, they are really trying to do their best to supply everything you need to the paintball community. They have it all. You can head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. If you want Field 1, HK, GI, Dye, it doesn't matter. They got it. You can surf the website. You can check it out. They have what you need, guaranteed. And they also boast excellent customer service and same-day shipping. That's pretty badass. You could go to the website, order something, and it's going to be sent out that day. That's fantastic. That's amazing customer service. So again, guys, if you would like, you could head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. You could also check them out on YouTube and Instagram. Their Instagram is Lone Wolf PB, and their YouTube is Lone Wolf Paintball. And you can see and keep up to date with all their latest deals, their sales, their content. It's a lot of really fun stuff. Play the Game Podcast is excited to have them on board, and you guys should head over and become part of the community. All right. All right, everybody, we did it. We finally got him, the man, the myth, the legend. This episode is going to knock your socks off. We have Alexander Goldman, the most recent MVP, Golden Barrel winner. It's not his first time, though. He has done it so many times over and over again. One of the best to ever play the game, and truly just very insightful. Anytime you can catch one of Mouse's interviews, you want to tune in because he's always incredibly honest, raw, real. He doesn't hold anything back, and he just truly speaks from the heart. One of my absolute best friends, and somebody that, you know, I definitely admire in this game. So without wasting any more words in this intro, without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got him, Alexander, the great Goldman, the one and only, the MVP, the 3-time world champ. I mean, whatever accolade you want to put, Alexander has done it. Dude, Mousy, baby.
Yeah,
what's
boy.
up? We got you, man.
That's it? No.
That's it.
Right back.
Redo it.
Alex,
This is what I came
for all the listeners, I gotta say, I couldn't think of a grand enough entrance for you, you know? So, you know, I did the best that I could. I'm sorry it was a little underwhelming. For all the listeners, there is no entrance that could be good enough for this.
He said, yeah, I know.
Dude, I said fair enough.
He said fair enough.
No, but for real, I mean, as you stand right now, you guys just won the last tournament, Golden Barrel winner. You're sitting on top right now, dude, and we're honored to have you on the show. You've done a tremendous amount for paintball, athletically, and just for the game itself of pushing it forward. So the honor's all ours, brother. It's good to have you on.
Yeah,
dude,
no,
let me keep going through it. Let me keep going through it. Best
yeah, we got
athlete,
more.
Keep getting
Best-
cut off. Dude,
best-
go ahead.
best
We got
athlete
more.
in the game, Snake God. Do you forget Snake God? I mean, Snake
No,
God.
we did forget
Savage.
Snake God because that Snake God's done.
Okay, Snake God's done. The savage
And
that
anyone
eats.
anyone deciding to still try to buy a shirt off HK there, don't do it. Please. I
So
got
what
new
would you-
merch coming.
Okay, it's not Snake God. What do we got?
Look.
What do we got?
Okay, so like Snake God is like when LeBron was 23 and now he's number 6.
Yeah.
Savage Just Eat for Free is number 6. We've moved
Hey.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
moved
right.
on.
All right.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
I
Yeah, but-
think people have already known this, but yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron
Well, hey,
went
this
back
is the
in
number one
23.
podcast.
Yeah.
For
And I don't
paintball,
even
so
want to
you heard-
compare
yeah.
myself to LeBron, but
Yeah.
Dude, you're bro, come on. You already know what's going on out here. You already know what's going on. But dude, we have to know, you know, how's it been since the tournament, and then with this crazy pandemic and everything, you've been holding up okay? Everything been okay on your end out there?
no, yeah, man. Life's been great. I'm working full time in a molecular lab, you know, microbiology. It's something I obviously never studied. I first initially got my first job in my first lab back in 2016. My sister got me the job, and then I quit after a year after they put me in sales. I just didn't know what I was doing. I still don't, but I built a good rapport with my manager, and she moved on to several labs and within that time frame and up until right before COVID. And she texted me asking, "Hey, what are you doing for work?" And this is right when we weren't sure if Bart was going to continue the payroll. And like I said on Maddie's thing, you know, I wasn't even surprised, man, because that guy takes on such a financial burden for us.
For sure.
I'm so thankful. Like the least I could do is go balls to the wall when I step on the field for that man. So it's been a great opportunity, man. I'm just enjoying the journey. And I got the same love for the game that I did back when Marcelo wouldn't pick me up for Die Kids. So
damn it. I figured we were gonna have to talk about this.
Yeah, we'll talk about it all. But I mean, the only thing that's really gonna stop me at this point is a dramatic injury. You know, hopefully that never happens. Yeah, right. And I've just came to terms with I'm committed to this game. And you know, I've gone through waves in my career, like, man, what's next for me? Whether I continue paintball or eventually quit or retire. I think that's what a lot of these guys deal with, you know, especially you guys, you're elite in this game, but financially it doesn't really pay back. And it's just a tough situation. And people are probably looking at me sideways here because I'm one of the few guys that do get paid, but Marcella, or both of you guys know, living in California, you can never make enough. And now I'm working a corporate job full time, and I'm getting paid by Bart. And man, I'm just starting to kind of get grounded here and build something for myself. So I'm in a great position. But
and how old are you, Mouse, for the listeners so they know?
I'm 31. I turned 32 in October.
Awesome. And then you are reporting live from which city? Where are we at right now?
So I'm yeah, you gotta smile because you guys know I'm in the IE, but
in the IE. Nobody knows what the IE
Let's go.
is, bro. Inland Empire.
Let's go.
No, they know if they're Southern California, they know to stay away from here. But no, I'm in Riverside. Riverside. I'm at my mom's right now.
Shout out Gwen,
Shout
baby.
out to moms.
Roommate.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. And, it's all about family.
I actually have my girlfriend pretty much living here too. Yeah, right.
Oh, nice,
family
man.
First.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Mass, I am excited to talk to you a little bit about
some big
yeah, sorry, bro. There was a little bit of a delay
Who's talking?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue. You got to tell Gwen to up the Spectrum account. Come on, Gwen, you got to spring for that better Wi-Fi.
Yeah, right. Oh shit.
No, I was just saying that I am excited to pick your brain a little bit. We'll get to that. I'll let you finish. But about the way you took your paintball mindset to the workplace. Obviously, we talk a lot, you know, off air. You know, we always try to, you know, stay up to date with each other. And I think that's a valuable thing that paintball has been able to teach you how to approach the workforce, which is huge. And you're very successful in your job, and you've done really well because of a lot of your mindset that you bring to the field.
Well, I was actually going to say quite the opposite is working a corporate job sucks. It's the most miserable thing I've ever had to deal with. But
right.
Yeah, paintball's taught me the discipline of like getting through hard times. Absolutely. But I think that's been the difference for me. I think I kind of started to see it last year, and then this year it's definitely starting to take effect. And what I mean by that is I'm so appreciative of being able to get away from work and go play paintball. And I was definitely taking it for granted for so many seasons, man. And it's I'm just back to doing the old things, putting in the amount of time you need to be at the top level, and just a good attitude too. I think people kind of forget about just staying positive, you know, because it's so easy to get heated out there, whether it's practice or tournament. We're playing at the top level, and like whether you want to argue it or not, there's ego. There's always ego.
There has to
You're
be.
always battling that. That's that inner battle, right? So the
Mhm.
more you can kind of smash that ego down, I think the more you can focus on your results.
Dude,
Mhm.
couldn't have said that any better, man. That's absolutely right. Except for
Yeah.
when you're practicing Dynasty and we go at it. But other than that,
Yeah, but you gotta appreciate that. I know it's kind of weird. It's like we really mistreat each other at these practices. There we go, Goldman background. I
you know
like
what's
it.
going on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just gold out the gills.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and Marcelo even talked to me before getting this podcast going, and he's saying he didn't want to bring up our past practices, but
Mhm.
there has been some turmoil between
That's
Impact
fun though.
and
Me and you
Dynasty.
talk
But
about it.
Hey, hold on.
You
I didn't say I
No,
didn't
no.
want to. I said for your sake. we won't
okay?
bring
Fair
it
enough.
up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it's well known that I'm a big asshole on the field, but man, who
Dude.
isn't at the top level? And I'm not saying you have to be like, oh yeah,
No.
I got to be an asshole to be at the top at and what I do. That's not the case. It's just I'm so emotionally invested. I've put so much time.
Mhm.
I want it so bad, and
Yeah.
it's like it's hard for me to explain, and it seems like I'm bragging about myself. But man, if you guys know that perspective, so I know you guys know what I mean by that.
For sure.
And
100%.
yeah, I can't articulate it the best sometimes, but
Mhm.
I
No,
mean,
I read you
man,
loud and clear, dude. When you want
Yeah.
something so bad, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. You're willing to really pour yourself into the game and be like fully present, fully aware, fully in the moment. And I mean, in athletics, it's pure attack. It's pure aggression.
Yeah.
It's, like
Mhm.
we're out there to get a job done. And if somebody's in my way, then move them out the way. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
kind of that mentality. And I think that's like, you see that in all sports, whether it's in basketball, football, soccer, at the top level, the mindset is savages eat for free. You know what I mean? It is like, we got to go and get
And
this
we're
job
just trying
done.
to play the game.
Yeah. Let's
No,
go.
but hey, and I'm not perfect, right? Like
Mm-mm.
none of us are, and I make a lot of mistakes, and I make the same mistakes sometimes, just going forward in life, and I do feel bad when I cross the line, especially like this past weekend. I think I had a good behavior for the most part.
You were
against
good.
you
I didn't
guys.
hear any bad stories. You're good.
Yeah, I wasn't chirping like
No.
but just in the past,
Yeah.
whether it was the rainy incident a couple years ago in NXL or just at practices being just a complete asshole. I do feel bad when I cross the line, but in the heat of the moment, I'm willing to take it there. And that's what it takes. If you want to truly be the best, man, there's no holdback. You just keep pushing, you go forward, and, you say your sorries later.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like we're out there, we're not in a boxing ring. It's not like, there's no altercations that get that far, but it's just, at a certain point, you're playing with the full heart. You're playing with all your passion.
It is interesting you say that, though, because I do think, if there's one thing I actually listen to a lot of, it's a lot of fighters' mindsets and their story. And man, you go and listen to a lot of those guys that came up. There's a lot of similarities on how they tackle just the psychological part of their sport. And I'm not saying that we go through the aches and pains they do, but there's a lot of that mental battle that they have that is very similar to paintball. Because it is personal, man. Whoever wants to get dunked on in this game.
Straight up. And for all the people tuning in on the podcast, go check out the YouTube as well. He's got the Mike Tyson double belted shirt up on right now. And, he's letting it be known. Savages eat for free. I got the gold background on the YouTube, so you can peep that for Goldman. It's Goldman Day around here, so we're having some fun.
Let's go. You guys know I fuck with you, man.
Goldman Day, baby. I like it. We should make that official, dude. June 14th is the Goldman Day. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's not a prevalent thing in America, honestly.
It is now. It is now, dude.
Right? So come on, hit me with the questions.
All right, let's get it.
So Mouse, how did you
we usually start this out? Yeah.
Is that all right? We're starting with that.
That is usually where we take it. Grassroots, first time playing the game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I didn't like write any notes, so bear with me if I kind of am off on my timeline.
You forgot when you first played?
No, I remember, but as we go down the road here, I might skip a few things or miss some stuff. So I think I was definitely in middle school. It was anywhere from 12 to 14 when I started playing, and it was a birthday. And
hey, the birthday. There we go.
So the first time I went was with my friend Zach. No longer plays, but the reason I'm saying this is his older brother Jared was best friends with Derek, who you had on, the Navy SEAL.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I met Derek. So I met Derek the first time I went and played paintball.
No way.
Because Jared, my friend's older brother, brought Derek. So we went out, the four of us, for my first time and Zach's first time, but they had already started playing, the older guys.
Damn. Right. Shout out to Derek. He's one of our favorite supporters, man.
Oh, yeah, that guy's the man.
Yeah.
And, we went to SC Village. We were playing in the woods, and Zach and I didn't go too far from the start gate every game. And I don't even know if I saw an opponent the whole day. I was hiding that much. But just trying to tackle the strategy and trying to push myself to go get in a gunfight and getting a chance to get shot or shoot someone was so fun and challenging to me. And each weekend as I kept playing, that progression of testing that fear kept gradually decreasing. And then there was that slow transition to hyperball. That's when I met Marcelo. He would
hold on. I just think it's pretty funny that you are like the most aggressive paintball player, like, and then to hear that, that's how we all kind of started out too. I'll never forget. I was the same way. I was like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't start out running through or anything.
No, me neither. Me neither.
You could hardly run back then.
Yeah, exactly. Right. A whole different body. Slowly but surely I was starting to get the grasp on how to really play the game. And the game was evolving as I continued to go out and play each weekend, X-Ball was just kind of getting introduced. And I was just starting to kind of see these pro teams at SC. Dynasty would walk by because that's how cool SC Village was. You'd have these legendary teams practicing at this field. But I was so new in the scene, I didn't even know these guys, but I knew obviously they could ball. That was just for sure. There was no question about that. And I started to put it together as time went on, like, holy crap, that was these guys,
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, so now about a year or maybe 2 years later, it's about 05 at this point. This is where Hinman, I get introduced to Hinman. And I'm not kidding you. The weekend this guy comes up to me was the weekend I literally decided, all right, I thought in my mind, as a young kid, I put so much time into this. This is my last week, and I'm tired of my mom having to drive out here and sit in the parking lot and watch me go. She didn't even watch me play. She'd just sit and read her books, and I'd do my thing and go play with whoever at SC.
What a champion she was. That's amazing.
Right.
That's awesome.
All the thanks to my mom, man. I mean, my biggest supporter, and I literally couldn't have done this without her.
Straight up.
And she was in my corner from day one, man. And so I'm at SC the weekend at Hinman. I get introduced to Hinman, and you know what? I got to give a lot of thanks to LJ Force because so I had met him. He had went to my high school, so I'm a freshman at this point, 15, and he went to my school. Yeah, right. But we didn't really hang out. But we had already met and somewhat had a friendship relationship. Just playing. He was already pro, so I couldn't really play with him when I'd go out there. But just me being local, living next to him, he was nice to me. And so he told Hinman, hey, there's this kid I think that you might have potential if you are starting a team. And Hinman comes right up to me. I'm the back of my mom's SUV, load my pods. And he walks right up to me and he's like, "Hey, so LJ tells me you're looking to start playing national events and get on the scene and play these amateur tournaments." And I was so scared, and I like, it didn't even make sense why this guy was coming up to me and asking me like, "Hey, you want to come?" He wasn't necessarily telling me to try out. He just wanted to see what I was about. So they were doing drills on one of the hyperball fields. And at this point, I still couldn't put my gun in my left hand. I couldn't do any running and shooting. My snapshot was really sloppy. But the one thing I think he saw was a certain attitude. And I think he kind of thought he could structure that and start to mold me into a player that could potentially take it as far as I wanted.
That's crazy.
So that day I luckily I played out of my mind at that expectation. You know, who knows how good it was if I were to see it now, but good enough to put the impression on Hinman. I get on the team. So we play like a local event before we start playing the PSPs and the MPPLs. And just to get us ready to get into those bigger leagues. And Marcelo wasn't on the team yet. I had played a local event with Aftermath. And then after that, he started to try to grow the roster. So he knew Marcelo just because Marcelo had been on the scene for a while and his relationship with Dai. And Marcelo joins the team about a month or two after. And right away, naturally, I think we just became best friends just because of the close age. And him and I we had this goal set out. We were destined to want to be the greatest. And Dynasty's going to love this. I think we have to give, the most thanks to them because you look at it now, there's not one amateur team that even gets the chance to play a pro team, let alone a top tier pro team. It just doesn't happen. Not today.
No way.
And that was a routine thing for us every weekend. We played Dynasty. So the confidence was growing tremendous. Like going into that first event, PSP LA Open 2005, which was a nasty one. It was the most rainiest event to date, I think. Like literally lakes in your dive zone. Like you're lucky if your gun was shooting at the end of a point. And I was so damn nervous. I mean, it all hit me in the first match of my paintball career. And Marcelo kind of seemed to naturally find his way, and he played a lot that event. We ended up winning our first PSP event as Aftermath in D3, and we continued that run. The next event was Orlando, and I'm still in 05, just so everybody is with me on this timeline. And now I'm starting to find that confidence. I wasn't necessarily playing like the selected 5 when it came to Sunday, but you could see the progression and it was coming quick. Then we get to Chicago. That's the third event. And I'm starting to ball.
We won Orlando.
Mind. I don't know if Marcelo.
We won Orlando.
Sorry, Sorry. We win Orlando. Then we get to Chicago, the third event. And there's MPBLs too in between these, but I don't really remember those. Those are kind of hazy to my memory.
Yeah,
just because we had played so much paintball. And my focus was PSP because I loved that format. I mean, I love both. I'm a purist of the sport. I'll play any style, but X-ball I just gravitated towards naturally because of the athleticism it demanded. And so now we're at the third event, and we haven't lost a match in the season, and we've won both tournaments in PSP, and it's unheard of. And so I don't know why it clicked and when it clicked. I mean, obviously Dynasty was a big part, just us practicing them every weekend. And I think I just kind of realized, like, man, if I'm getting decent points against this team Dynasty who's winning in pro, why can't I just go out and stomp these fucking kids in D3? And I kind of just came to terms with that in that third event. And I'm not kidding. It would probably be every 4 out of 5 points I was doing a run through. I was playing the Dorito side. I don't quite remember the layout.
Wasn't there like a sub?
That
There was like a sub.
there
On
was a
the
sub
50,
in the
I
50,
remember.
and
Yeah,
I would
I
walk
totally
my
remember.
little ass up into that sub.
Yeah. Keep in
Within
mind,
30 seconds every point.
there's a reason we call him Mouse. He
Every-
was like 4'11".
That's right.
Little Mouse.
Yeah,
You
dude.
guys need a guy like Joe Rogan has,
That
where
Jamie.
we're talking about these things, and they just pull this. You need a Jamie.
Dude, we need
Right?
a Jamie. Yeah, for sure.
You started as one of the smallest paintball players, and now you're one of the largest. Yeah.
And it was weird. It had its pros and cons, right? It was hard to shoot me because I was such a small target, but I was so damn slow. I couldn't get any speed going. I had no muscle behind those stubs. But it must have been so nasty too to watch me play like this midget kid. Same with Marcella too. Just these young little midgets just running around reckless, running through bunkering kids like just.
Well, that's all of us.
No
all of
hold
us.
back.
All of us sitting here, we're the midget crew.
I'm sure you too, Tyler. I didn't get to watch you as a kid just because I was so focused on my own journey, and I'm sure Marcella can say the same. I was
the only time I saw you,
Oakland.
Oh, straight up. And same with SoCal. Like I was following everybody down there and watching what you guys were doing. I watched your guys' whole aftermath journey and your progression. And then Mouse, you would come up to Bob Long's house and we would scrimmage against each other as well when we were just youngsters, man. So I
think I only got to do that once though.
That's right. Yeah. And even when you made the Ironman, we'll get into that in your lineage. You, I mean, like you said, those little stubs were moving, boy. You were getting down the field and you were getting it.
But yeah, I mean that played a part in my game. I focused more like on my gun skills just because I know my physical wasn't there yet. So my shot, I think back then was way nastier than it probably is today. My IQ is way above where I was at, obviously.
No way, dude. I gotta say, your shot's better than it's ever been. I'll give that to you.
I don't know. Maybe I was just surprised back then because of the lack of my experience. But man, I just felt like my shots were just on point as a kid. I don't know.
It's so important what you talk about right there. Just ask yourself, how many times do you have to shoot an opponent for them to be eliminated? Typically once, you know what I'm saying? But if you get that accuracy down, and this is for all you guys listening out there, it's a game changer. If you dial in that shot, you're going to be pulling up, making those key eliminations when you need to, having faith in your shot, and it opens all the doors. Because once you make that key shot, it opens the next door, and then you open the next door. But you have to have that shot dialed in.
That's a tough one though, right? Is how do you work on that? I mean, it's easy to say, let's go do drills, but what are drills? And I know you guys do a good thing with the BKI stuff. I don't even get to see those videos. I'm not a subscriber, so
yeah, we can get you in there, dude. I know the guys.
You guys go over that stuff. Like, do you show that?
Of course,
absolutely.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So a big thing we talk about, and Mouse, I think you'll actually agree, and it took me a long time to even realize this. We teach paintball. We've taught paintball for a long time. You have as well. We always put up targets and run people through different snap shooting drills. We show them, okay, here's how you hold your gun, your elbow, your loader. Here's the movement. Shoot this target. That's not how we trained. When we were coming up, we would grab each other and gunfight with each other, right? And so I feel like that's a piece that was missing for a long time. And a couple of years ago, it dawned on me. I was teaching in clinic, and you always see the players where they go up, they step behind a bunker, and they're just shooting this target every time. And you're like, dude, this kid's the best gunfighter here. And then in the game, he's the first one to get shot. And you're like, what's going on? What's not adding up? It's the timing and the rhythm of the paint coming in, and the rhythm of a gunfight. When we were younger,
well, it's also. Sorry, go ahead.
When we were younger, we would always grab a teammate and go Dorito to Dorito, temple to temple, can to can. You just gunfight with each other. That was the drill. So you're getting good at reading the paint coming in. You're getting good at the rhythm, the timing, the mindset. Gunfighting is like, you're talking about fighters. Tyler and I talk about it all the time on the show. It really is like a fight, throwing punches, dodging, like it 100% is like an extension of your body that you're sending to your opponent.
Absolutely. And I think another thing though that they kind of don't understand some of these divisional kids is when to pick those fights, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When is the right time to start getting that gunfight going? And I mean,
So
It's a
true.
huge one. Because survivability is huge.
Are we going back to?
No, I want you to elaborate
Yeah,
a little bit on
absolutely.
that. I feel like you got quite, you're not
Oh,
giving
okay,
away
yeah.
secrets, but that's a huge one, dude. Because young players really struggle with picking that, and they die early. They get into a good spot and then die fast, you know, and that's the worst thing you could do. Survivability is huge. So, yeah, elaborate a little bit on that.
There's just so many factors though that go into that. When is your body more valuable than other times? You know, you got to know the counts, where you're at on the field, what is your advantage or disadvantage compared to the opponent. And it's tough, man. You got to process that stuff with the opponents trying to make moves against you, and there's pressure to that, but it's easy to kind of calmly think it through when you've done it for so many years. And you just, you know, when these kids ask me like what went through your head and that stuff, you just have to, it's so like vague and cliche, but it's so true. It's like, you can never play enough paintball. And I don't think kids will ever go through the grind that we did, which was literally 7 a.m. because we had to, you know, set up the field. And then we were there till sundown, 5, 6 o'clock p.m. And that just doesn't happen anymore. And I'm sure there are the anomalies that are out there doing it. But if you're not doing that, then you shouldn't be surprised of falling short.
Yeah, it's the time, dude. It's all the time.
Yeah. There's just so much though, Marcelo, that goes into knowing when to pick the gunfight, knowing when to take the trade, knowing when to play the hide and seek and just survive. I mean, that could be another podcast alone.
For sure.
Seriously. Yeah. And that's kind of like, you know, the name of the show. It's play the game. You got to be the best at playing that game out there, because that's who wins the tournaments. You know what I'm saying? They read the situation. They know when to do things, and they know when to shut things down, or, you know, just weigh out all the options. That's where it's at. All right. So let's dig back into your story about like, you know, coming up in the game.
Real quick. Okay, so before we do, I just had a funny thought. In my book, I have Paintball IQ right here. We finally got these printed. You know, I have you as the whole snake player example of how to be aggressive, especially on the snake side. To me, you're the best snake player that there's ever been. That's huge. That's my opinion of you. And one of the best attackers in general. Yet your most recent MVP was of you playing in the back. Essentially, you know, you attacked when necessary, but you played a much more conservative style. It's kind of an interesting thing, you know, to be able to play that pace. And we talk about it a lot on the show about front players in particular. When front players become really dangerous is when they learn how to play both speeds. And it's not always just that aggressive speed. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I think that's a funny thing. You got the MVP, the event sweep, you know, finals MVP, event MVP, Golden Barrel, much deserved. And it was probably the slowest you've played a field.
Yeah. I think people give me a little too much credit for that performance, just because I'm out there trying to take what you guys are going to give me. And that wasn't my plan, to play that corner hide and seek and counter punch game. That's just what it ended up being. But I had played all the paces going into that situation, so I was very well ready for it.
Of course.
I'm just thinking here how to say stuff without letting the opponents learn here. Oh, this is where it gets tricky.
It's a tightrope. Definitely a tightrope.
It's a tightrope.
Sure. All three of us are on different teams now.
Right. And I'm not trying to say I'm the genius of the game, but I think I've proven I have some type of formula that works. And man, I just want to appreciate what I'm trying to do now. And
of course,
when it's all said and done, man, I'll let all the secrets out. And I'm not saying I have the master plan on how to win a tournament. There's so many factors. That tournament and that Sunday just particularly went my way. That's it.
Totally.
But I had the right attitude and I understood the layout.
Yeah. I love the way you put that, man. You could not say that any better, because it's just like in the moment, right? You're just living in the freaking moment. That's it. You're just riding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig back in. That's it, dude. Flow state. So I want to hear about young Mousy, running them down with your little
Okay.
nubs running all over the place.
So yeah, Chicago going through feast in the whole event, and then we get to finals against Gridlock, and like we had just made it on principle. We don't like these guys because we were a red proto team, and so were they, and they had young kids too. But we knew we were better, but we knew they could give us a run if we didn't bring our A game.
Mm-hmm.
And we were representing the West Coast. They were East, South, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we beat them. That was a close game in that tournament. We should have smashed them, but we ended up winning. So now we've won 3 tournaments in a row with no losses. And Marcelo's not gonna like this one, but Hinman.
Oh no!
I had a one-on-one talk with Hinman, and this guy's telling me, and I don't know if he was just testing my mental at this point or it was true. I'd like to think it was true, but he told me, you know, the Dynasty guys had brought your name up in a meeting this tournament, asking, should we bring this kid up? I'm 15 and only had played my 3rd PSP. And now I almost have my opportunity to play for the most legendary, epic franchise in paintball history.
And at that time, Dynasty was at the height. They were the mountain. They were at the height.
They were the beast.
Oliver was on the team. Yeah. I mean, that's why we went to the Ironman. That was when Oliver went to the Ironman, and he called you and me when we were with Ronnie Filipponi about to go to a Padres game.
That's right. Don't jump the gun. I'll put you in it. But
all right.
Okay, so and then now this is where Marcelo gets his credit. So now we're going to the 4th event, and we're going through the event. Oh, Marcelo he's not able to go to the tournament, and I forget the reason. You had it
was a family obligation. I was 15.
Family thing he had to attend.
Yeah.
It was really unfortunate because Marcelo was a big key factor to our success in that program. And it clearly showed that event. And we had only lost to 1 team that tournament, but twice. So we lose the Tipman effect. Yes, with the Tipmans. But they were some ballers, man.
Yeah,
I remember them.
Ball.
Yeah.
And they ended up being our nemesis that event. They beat us in the prelims. It was a tough layout too. We just didn't quite grasp how to really play the layout, but we ended up losing to.
What was it about Marcelo at that age that was so pivotal to the team and the chemistry?
He was just such a well-rounded player for his age. I mean, dude, these kids in D3 at that time, they were just happy to be there. I mean, and we got a programmed machine that could compete probably almost at the top level at that point. So it was kind of unfair. It was like a brown belt going into a white belt class and just dominating.
It was like,
but
we were in the dojo every weekend with the black belts.
Just putting these kids in a headlock. And so now we had finally lost a game, 2 games and a tournament. And then now we're going into cup. And we end up winning every game at that tournament. Marcelo's back. We win the cup. And
Dalton joined us that event too.
Okay, is that it? Okay, yeah.
That was when Dalton joined
That's where I kind of lose some things during this timeline here. Okay, so yeah. And I think Dalton had mentioned in his podcast. So Dalton joins the team. And we treat him like one of those Gridlock kids because he had the swag like us with the bandana. Short, young kid too. He could ball. So we were just haters when we were kids.
We were.
Now I can easily say that. We were just haters. Anyone close to our level or on our level, we just despised. We didn't like. And unfortunately for Dalton, that was him. So he ended up, I guess, hearing that me or Marcelo talking shit about him like during the practice or after practice. I don't know. I'm glad he got over it eventually.
No, me too. I don't remember that, but I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. Yeah, that's such a funny thing too about Dalton, man, because since day one, he's always had that careless style. Because I remember as a kid, I would always wonder, like, does this guy even want to be here? And it wasn't like a disrespectful thought. It was just like, he had this nonchalant kind of swagger to him. Like, oh, I'm out here, you know, I'm going to just do it because that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm out here already. It's like, I might as well, you know. But it worked for him. It worked for him. You never saw that kid nervous, other than when Hinman put the pressure on him. But even then, that kid really knew how to keep his cool, and he still knows how. So shout out to Dalty, man.
Dalton's absolutely. Love that guy.
Yeah. So
he's
we
coming
end up
back.
winning
He's
cup.
going to be at the next tournament.
That's right.
Yeah,
but I think he was better in 05 than he is now.
Jesus, Dalton, you're listening. I know you're listening, dude. We got some shit to prove.
He's good. He's good, man. He's good. Okay, so now 2006. I'm 16 now. Marcelo and I still on Aftermath, but
we skipped Division 2.
I think yeah. Okay, so that was a big deal back then, because the divisions back then really meant their division. I think now it's kind of a little more scattered, just because they've widened the scale of divisions with D5, D6. So now it's like, what is D3, D4, D5? It's there's so many divisions now. It's what is the amateur rookie division? Totally. It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's an imbalance there with talent
when we were
in
kids,
each division, whether it's sandbagging or.
For sure. Go ahead. Yeah, when we were kids, it was your pro, amateur, novice, or rookie. It was like, and those, like you said, each one of those came with a different set of things that you had to accomplish to get past it. You know what I mean? He's frozen.
Yeah, exactly. So I was more straightforward back then. And so like D1, are we messing up?
You're good. You're
good.
Back.
Yeah.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, shout out to the Wi-Fi. I got it.
Let's go.
So yeah, that jump from D3 to D1 was a huge deal, because D1 was the true semi-pro division, and a lot of those teams or players could definitely ball in the pro division. It was just a matter of time. So we go D1, and I think, so first event was that Texas, that historical Texas that had the ice on the grass. No one wanted to play paintball.
Ice ball.
Oh God, it was the worst.
It was the worst.
I would have rather played LA Open than that Texas.
Totally.
Me too.
That LA Open in 05 than that Texas. Both were terrible. Like historically top two, the worst in my career tournament as far as weather.
I'm with you.
So we start out, I think, strong. I forgot the teams we had in our prelims, but legendary franchises, man. We had like Docs Raiders, Jacks Warriors, the D1 Gridlock team. We had some tough teams we were trying to get through. We ended up taking a third place. I just think that weather kind of changed everybody's style that event. And not to say we would have won or lost just because the weather changed, but it definitely changes things. So everyone had to adapt. But it definitely gave us an eye-opener of what D1's all about that year. It was definitely a different pace, and we were ready for it though after that event. So we ended up getting third in Texas. I don't even remember what the second event was or where it was.
Tampa. We went to Tampa, NPPL Tampa.
But that was a 7-man. Yeah.
We didn't play a second.
Okay.
We didn't play a second X-Ball event with Aftermath that year.
Okay, good. Now I'm on track here. Okay, so then we go and play MPPO Aftermath, and we go and dominate the 7-man. And let me know this. Is this when we had to play like two pro teams or teams above our division? When we go to the prelims in 7-man? Remember that? You would get
I think so.
Random.
Yeah, maybe we did. I don't know. I do remember we played Voltage in the finals, and it had like Damian Ryan
and it had
Tally and those guys.
Right.
And so these are like, all these dudes were older than us. You know, we were the kids.
That's right.
Coming in, swinging, dude.
Right.
Yeah, shout out
so
Plum
we end
Life
up
one time.
Winning that. Yeah. So we end up winning that event. And then, so Marcelo and I had gained a lot of weight to our name at that point. I mean, we had just shown the consistency of the level of play we could play at. And at that point, we became good friends with a lot of pros in the Southern California region. And Oliver in particular, just because in 05 when he was on Dynasty, because this is that transition where he went from Dynasty to Ironman, we ended up being good friends with him, just being able to practice against him every weekend in that 05 season. So now in 06, he's on Ironman, and they gave him this kind of management position to reform the team. And this is where he got that big salary deal, right? The 100K.
5 years, 100K a year, 500 grand.
So Oliver's in a prime of his
shit.
Yeah,
it was insane.
The guy was a legend, man.
Yeah.
You just see like this aura around him when he would be at the field. Just
Seriously.
untouchable. So it's just cool to be around him. So it was really easy to influence us, Marcelo and I, to come in for a meeting at the dye warehouse and see what it's all about. And I mean, right when Marcelo and I pull up to dye, we signed the dotted line and we're on the Ironman mid-season. I think that's the only time I've ever made a move too, mid-season. I only say that because we recently talked about that in the group chat and Impact. But going back to it, we go and play Chicago for our first pro event, Marcelo and I. And this is back when pro teams had 15 players on a freaking roster.
Yeah.
It was an army.
It was.
So they had like a weird rotation with lines. I feel like though we only had 2 lines and then like reserves for certain spots, right? No,
That's
but
right.
there would be like the guys on the bench that would come in every now and then.
Right. Or we would do a hybrid.
But Marcelo and okay. But Marcelo and I earned our spots, both of us, in the same position on opposite lines for that Chicago event. And that's when we started getting introduced to you, Tyler, and we went and practiced you right before the event. When you were on, but you were on the Legacy team at that point when Bob kind of reformed with the Legacy franchise, right?
Yeah, I believe that would be around like 07 or 06.
No, it was 06.
06, yeah. So I think you're right. That's right around the time that we merged with like Legacy and Hybrid, Contract Killer, all those brands and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, and man, we had a stellar event. I thought we ended up getting second place. We lose to that. Back then was the Impact of paintball excessive. Got some dogs roosting out there in the backyard.
God bless them.
That might not stop, by the way. So
that's right. They're having
it's
fun.
all good. Yeah.
Okay. So we end up getting second. So this is where I think I make my first mistake in my career. So we end up finishing the tournament, and I can't even give a reason for you, or at least a valid reason why I end up going back to Aftermath after that event. I guess if I had to just give an answer I guess I felt like I owed it to Hinman just because he had put me on the scene, and I at least felt like I needed to finish the season with him. But what I did do was give Dave DeHaan and Shane Pastana my word that I would come back after the year. And they were actually okay with that. They kind of understood it. I mean, it was unfortunate because they knew Marcelo and I were the prodigy in paintball, and we were well on our way to becoming the next big thing if we stayed the course. So I go back to Aftermath, and Oliver kind of gives me some shit, but I stick it out with Aftermath.
What was that like going through that time? I mean, that was crazy. That was a wild time in your life.
Yeah. It's weird for me is, man, like back then, all I cared about was playing paintball. I didn't really like think much of like, what team I was playing for. Granted, like I loved the groups I was around, the Aftermath group, the Ironman group. I was learning from both teams, but to me, I was just enjoying the whole path and journey of paintball. Like all I wanted to do was eat, sleep, and think paintball. I mean, if I wasn't playing, Marcelo was a big advocate of this. We would play imaginary paintball. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Monday through Friday, and I did it as a pro player at 16. I would gear up fully in my house, running around, shooting at ghosts. Like,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
just how much I loved the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that
Dude.
now, for the record. But I mean, I would. If anyone's down, I would play imaginary. I'm just too lazy to put my gear on.
I remember our first pro tournament with Ironman. We were like on the pro field playing imaginary paintball on one. Just everyone's laughing at us. What are these kids doing?
Oh my god! And everybody's walking around, walking the field, and there, Marcelo and I are just screaming, "Get out!" to each other.
Look, I think we're on to something here. This is huge.
Yeah.
You guys need to start doing this. Like, it's a great way to read the field a little bit, you know, while you're out there.
Full gun setups at the walking field day. Everyone needs to be fully geared up. If you're not fully geared up, testing your breakouts, you're not on your way to winning.
You don't want it.
I need to see goggles on.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Doing? That's great. It reminds me of the video you posted of that poor girl a long time ago that went on the field without her goggles.
Yeah, but that's the opposite of
I
what
know.
we're trying to do.
I know. It just made me think of it.
Babe, actually, about that girl never talked to me again, rightfully so. But for the record, I did ask her if I'm allowed to post that. I don't think she knew, obviously, how creative I was going to get with that and totally just annihilate her on the internet. I'm sorry for the record.
I don't think you annihilated her.
No, you
No,
didn't.
it was funny.
I mean, that video has the most comments out of any of my posts.
I know. I was scrolling through your page today, like just looking at, you know, everything that you've done. And I came across that video and I watched it and I was laughing so hard.
It's really funny, dude. Hold on.
Oh man. You were saying, oh no, honey.
Hold on.
No, honey. What are you doing?
I wonder if we could get it on the show.
Jamie, put it up.
Jamie. Come on, Jamie. Let's see. I'm gonna find it. How far back is this?
Oh, what a time. That is so funny.
That's what paintball is all about, man. It's just such a fun thing, dude. We're just a part of the most fun thing ever. And I know everybody tuning in, you know, it's just the best.
You got to learn to laugh, whether the joke's on you or not. You got to learn to laugh.
Yep,
that's it, man. That's it. And that's a mantra for life, right? Like, just
it really is.
Things. Yeah.
If you can't get right with yourself first, you're gonna go through some tough times. And I think I'm still figuring that one out. But
yeah, we all are, brother. We all are. It's
what's Marcelo doing? Is he swiping right or is he getting the video?
I'm trying to get the video. How far back is this video?
It's pretty deep in there. It's like 2017 or 2018.
It's 17 or 18. It's 17 or 18.
Okay. All right. We're getting in there then.
I went into the archives, bro. I was like, dang, look at how funny. I was watching the videos that you post. And by the way, like from Inside the Net, shout out all these guys that do these awesome videos. You know what I'm saying? They put a lot of effort into all these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's 2016, so I'm blowing it over here. I would not have Jamie's job. I would be fired immediately.
We need a Jamie.
Oh,
we got
found
to get a Jamie.
There it is.
There we go. All right, so we're putting this up on the YouTube here. Percocet, Molly Percocet.
So she's on the field.
Oh,
mask off.
You hate to see
the game started. Oh my goodness, that's right.
Thankfully, she didn't get like shot or anything, but she ran out there.
I would have posted that if something fatal happened. Absolutely.
She was so excited. So we just heard a story. Mouse, it was actually when Thomas Taylor was on Aftermath with you, he played a full point with no goggles and like got to the 50. Who was just telling us this, Tyler?
What?
Yeah. Who
I
was
don't
just
remember
telling us
that.
this? Oh,
it makes sense though that was
Dalton.
him.
Dalton was just telling us this. Now I don't know if Dalton was lying because Dalton makes things up.
Dalton's trolling. Come on, man.
Dude, he swore that the whole
hold on.
rush.
You're gonna tell me no ref saw the mohawk with no goggles and nothing?
It was at practice.
Oh,
it was
practice
at Raza. I guess either one's believable. Thomas could have done it, and Dalton could be trolling. either one could work. But either way, it's wild.
I got actually a funny thing to go off that. So, like the weekend after this last event, or the second weekend after that, it was like raining in Southern California, and I went to Camp Pendleton to do drills. I couldn't see shit through my lens. It was like clear lens that just kept fogging. I took the lens out and just did drills. I'm sorry. Don't do that. Kids, do not do that. But
nobody
was tired of not being able to see my paint. So
nobody was shooting against you. You were just shooting targets on it.
No one was shooting against me. I was shooting targets, but I just thought it was funny because I kept my goggles on with no lens.
You have to,
you gotta have the feel.
You gotta have the feel.
That's actually I want to ask you guys, would you for $1 million play a point in a pro game? Like one point, no lens?
No.
What about you, Mouse? $1 million? $1 million? Will you do it?
Well, I guess what are the rules? Because
the rules are it's a normal game. It's a normal game.
I mean, I'll just cover my eyes and get bunkered if I have to. $1 million.
No, you can't cover.
You have to
play like
normal.
it
like you would with the lens.
Yeah.
You can
never
never
cover. That would be a tough one for you, Marcelo, because you know where the paintball ends up usually. But
I was just gonna say the funny thing is like I rarely get shot in the lens. You know, like I have gone full days.
Other than last weekend, I wanted to ask you too. What was up with that excuse that I snapped your soul out and you told me your barrel was bent? Dude. I didn't understand that. Shout out to the force, man.
We're going live.
Let the people know what was going on. Live.
Nothing.
This guy's playing with a bent barrel. This guy's playing with a bent barrel, man. Get this guy.
You're killing me. Stop, dude.
Yeah.
Stop.
Oh, shit.
Kid, I'm behind Ryan in the snake corner. My paint's going all over the place, and I'm like, what's going on? And I realized
I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one.
I know.
We'll move on, though.
Yeah, we'll move
You're killing me. We'll move on.
Mouse.
We'll move on.
Mouse, you're fucking hilarious. So sometimes that happens. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that happens.
Tyler knows.
I've never heard of it.
Tyler knows.
So this is a field one thing?
No. It's a core sample thing, okay. You know? It's a core sample thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we back to the timeline? Are we going back to the timeline, or are we just gonna keep ripping? What do we do here?
Let's go back to the timeline.
Tyler wanted the opposite.
Yeah. No, we're doing the timeline.
Okay, timeline. Okay.
Let's get into
so now
timeline.
I'm back on. I'm back on Aftermath. After I played one event with the Ironman, I said see ya.
I said see ya.
Yep.
I finished that year with Aftermath. I don't even remember all the events that we played up until the end of that season, but I do know we played obviously Cup and we won that. That was awesome. So now I've won 2 back-to-back Cups for what it's worth in D3, D1. And,
yeah, but that was your climb. That was the climb, you know? Yeah.
Right. So I hate to put Hinman in the Aftermath group at that time on blast, but this one, and I have to say it for the history of just my journey in paintball, and I just feel like I'm still owed that check. I'm sorry, but so what Hinman did that year was collectively take all the grand prize winnings of each event that we won, which was a lot of them, and he was going to divvy out the cash evenly throughout the whole roster. But for some reason, either on a team vote or Hinman on his own decided, and again, I still don't know the actual answer it's all said and done at this point, but that I didn't end up getting a check for any of the winnings because what? I missed one event that they didn't even win anyways. Mm-hmm. But I come back, I come back and finish the year. That one hurt. That one hurt me. And so at that point, I was like, okay, fuck you guys. I was going to Ironman anyway. And that was either the team's excuse or Hinman's excuse. Well, you're not going to be on the team next year, so why should we pay you? Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not saying it was just Hinman that decided this or the team. This one never got
figured out,
understood. Yeah, figured out. Yeah.
What's the age at this time? How old are we?
I'm 16. It's 2006.
Damn. Yeah.
And this check is over 10 grand. So it's one thing if it was like 1,000, but even then, I'll still take that thing.
Especially at that age, you know, and earned. You know, he came back and helped the team win. Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of like what instilled like some anger in me at that point, like moving on in paintball. Because I didn't start out an angry kid, right, Marcelo? I was pretty like quiet and reserved.
For sure.
So now at this point, you know, that was one button that got pushed, and I'm starting to play with some fire and some anger. So I right away I go to Ironman, and I remember Hinman calling me in the off season, months later, and he's like, "So what's your move? Are you going to come to Dynasty?" Because Hinman's on Dynasty still at this point.
Right.
Oh yeah,
and it's about to be the 07 season, and I'm like, "Sorry, Hinman, man. I already told Pistana and Dave and all the boys on Ironman I'm coming back. I'm going to go to the Ironman." And that one broke his heart because,
of course,
you know, Hinman at that point had felt like he had done something for me in paintball. He took me from SC Village, where I was just a young, you know, muck, and I didn't know a damn thing about the game, and he kind of helped me develop my game up until that point.
And he did for both of us.
He did, absolutely. I give him all the respects for starting my career, man.
Yeah, of course.
Like
we both do.
What I say about my mom, I couldn't have done it without her. I couldn't have done it without Hinman's backing and his support.
Facts.
But I had made my decision. So now I'm on Ironman, at this point. And here's the best part. LA Open now, 07, first X-Ball event. We come out firing. This team had so much
I remember.
Fire behind them. Like,
you played really good that event, dude.
Yeah. Well, hold on. This was an interesting one. So match one, we end up playing Infamous. So again, it's that dynamic where Marcelo's on one line playing the one on the D side, and I'm on the other line playing the one on the D side. I'm not kidding you. Infamous shot me off the break every point that match. And the one point I thought I made it, I'm hitting the pack and get a minor.
Oh, damn.
So, dude, that one hit my confidence like a mother. And that was such a cool thing about Shane, man. You could have the roughest match. That guy would pull you aside and go, guess what? You're starting next match. I mean, that was an interesting dynamic. It was polar opposites here. And I'm not saying one was better than the other. You got Hinman, who would give you more shit than you could ever take in if you made a mistake. And then you got a guy, Pistana, who is encouraging, keep it going, man. You're going to find your groove.
Yeah.
And so after that match, I totally reinvented my game. I stopped trying to push that D side because I couldn't make it wide. Today's game that I play now with the speed, totally different than how I had to play back then. I wasn't this physical beast that could make it anywhere that I want.
I think I was faster than you back then.
You probably were.
Once upon a time.
You probably were. Yeah, right. Short-lived.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah, it's okay.
You will take it.
Got him.
I'll tell you what, I'm having so much fun here. I'm going to come back on for a second.
Hell yeah. There we go.
But I want a better introduction. All
right. The glorious almighty, the one and only.
Yeah. Put them up.
Put them
Oh,
up.
you guys are
He
killing me.
put the pythons up for everybody.
Dude, we need to get Mouse. We need to
Show
get
'em the
Mouse.
pipes.
We need to get Mouse a lifetime goat subscription to our Discord.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
he belongs. He
I
belongs.
don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
It's a chat room. It's our Play the Game podcast chat, like a private chat room with all the supporters and
And
stuff.
how often are you doing that thing?
Dude,
Oh,
we're
we're
in there
just
all
in there
day.
all day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a
Well,
fun little app. And
I'm
there's-
sorry, guys. I got a job.
It's
That's
okay.
You can just watch all the madness.
Yeah. We'll
All
give
right,
you a little
fair
goat
enough.
tag. You'll be in there. It'll be tight, dude. You pop in every now and
There you
then.
go. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love
Okay,
that, dude.
so I go to the struggle game 1, and I don't know if I kind of found the way to play this field in a different way on my own, but now I just start playing the center and going right up to the X every fucking point, and I am feasting. I mean, I would clear a side, completely have whatever you want to call it at that point, Comanche, Raider, and I just start coming through the pins, ripping people in the back.
Yeah.
And I was doing that consistent. And I did it all the way through the event, and we end up playing. Okay, so Sunday, I think we played Dynasty in the semis. Marcelo,
I don't remember to be honest. I really
we end
don't.
up playing them though.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
we did.
dude,
You're right. I don't remember what game it was.
Okay. So let's just say it's the semis, because I think it was. And this is the first time we encountered Dynasty off all this commotion through the years. And so there's like a huge rivalry there, because Oliver, obviously coming from Dynasty, the Ironman, bad blood now. And Hinman's still on Dynasty at that point. So now I'm thinking, this is my chance to stomp some souls. And I felt like I went off, man. And I felt like I played so well, but I wanted to do even more than that. I always have that feeling now, like I can go shoot 5, but it just doesn't feel like enough sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why I talk shit. But we went the fuck off on these guys. We ended up beating them like 12-2, because this is when they had halves, no mercy.
Yeah. Paintball was just different back in the day.
Stomp them right out. And we go to shake hands. Hinman's nowhere to be found. And I remember I'm the first in line to go shake hands, because I was just so proud of that moment. And Frazier's right there. And I throw up the 1. Because at that point, I thought, and that was a mistake on my part mentally, because the tournament's never over until you go win that thing. But I thought, like, it's over. Like, we beat that team that bad. Who's next? And Frazier sees me do that, and he goes, something about like, you haven't won shit yet, kid. I said, well, go take a seat on the grandstands and watch this last game.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 17-year-old Mouse just giving it to Frazier.
17 years old. 17 years old.
Wow.
And we had a gritty match against the Russians. It ends up going to overtime. And I had a decent game against them as well. And I mean, the whole team did. Obviously, we end up winning the event. When a team wins a tournament, it's not solely on one guy.
For sure.
It has to be across the board. There could be one guy that stands out because he steps up in certain moments, but guys still need to do their job along the way, or that's never going to happen.
Yep.
You know, we're talking about that last event. People are saying I did this and that. Go and watch the tapes. JC goes off. Rab pulls a few kills and communicates. Matt, first tournament, has a hell of an event. Nick going up the center. It has to be across the board if you're going to win an event. Everyone has to be on that page. So when I say this, it's like I could be playing good. Everybody was playing good. I just always am hypercritical of my performance. So that's what I think about when I'm telling you guys this story. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right, dude. It's the team, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. So the one thing I remembered completely in detail, and I'll never forget, which I thought, I don't know if it was a political move or what, because I thought I had proven my worth to play that overtime point in the finals against the Russians. They sat me because it was my line. I don't think Marcelo even remembers this, but they sat me and I don't even mean to talk shit on Miko. It just happened that way. It could have been anyone. They put Miko in for my spot. He ends up getting shot off the break. Look, anything can happen. I could have went in and got a major. Who fucking knows, right? I'm just saying, I was feeling it. I wanted that moment so bad, but that pushed me to keep going to earn that moment.
Yeah, that event for me. That event for me too. I didn't play that much that event. That was one of the events, you know, at the end of 2006, like I was playing a lot on the Ironman. And then that first event, I thought I was playing well, and I didn't play that many points that event, you know, and so it was feel for me.
That was a tough Dorito side though, that layout.
It was.
I mean, come on. I reinvented my game to go up the center. I completely neglected that D side because I was like, I ain't making it out there.
That's crazy. And your Mouse, those struggle moments are what, like you said, that drove you even harder moving into the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Life lessons. It's not going to always go your way,
sure.
But find the lesson. Find the lesson in those struggles, man. You know, it's tough though. It really is. It'll play dividends on your psychological game and your confidence when things don't go your way. But if you sit back and assess, like, what could have went better? What could I have improved on? It only prepares you for that moment for the next time.
Yeah, you got to embrace it. Embrace the struggle. That's where all the good stuff's at. If you're not struggling, you're probably not going to be winning very much, because that's the only way that you can transcend into those championships is through that struggle.
Facts.
Yeah, straight up. So yeah, everybody just, like, you know, when things get hard, embrace it, go for it, keep pushing, and do all the small little detail work to try to figure out what's going on so that you can get through and then win those trophies.
Right. I love talking paintball with you guys because you've been there, man. It's not just me like talking to a wall. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And it may not reminisce with others yet or ever, but when you get to that point, those words hit different, man.
For sure.
It's everything. It's everything. Yeah.
It's everything. Okay, so that year is kind of like a blur to me. I don't know why. We end up having a pretty successful year, though.
Yeah,
I know that. I don't know, like, towards the middle of that season, but let me just fast forward to Cup.
Well, we won Kansas City too that year. That was that.
Oh, the 7-man.
Yeah,
the 7-man, and that was a gauntlet of a tournament. I felt like we played 50 games.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted by the time we got to that undecided who won finals against Impact.
What's so funny though?
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah. What's funny is you played the center that event too. You went up and played that car wash, and you played it out of your mind. So like from that first event, you started to be more well-rounded, not just playing the Dorito side, which is actually also funny. The fact that you're known as a snake player now, but you originally were a Dorito player. We were both Dorito players coming up, you know?
That is the one unfortunate thing with playing on Impact, is you got picked up to play the spot that you are good at. So you don't really get to take a gander at any other position. There's so many times that I went, let me try this spot, man. I feel like I can go dance up in there. No. Snake.
Get to your home, snake god.
So yeah, because Impact's got the best players for their spots for a reason. So
yeah, it's a calibrated machine. You know what I'm saying? It's just dialed in. They've crunched all the numbers and done all the math and science.
I actually want to ask you guys that is, Marcella, how do you feel about, like, you're on a team that doesn't really pay, but then you go up against teams that are paying players, and now Tyler's been on both ends now, so I feel like you probably have a good answer for this, but what is your mindset with that, Marcelo? Like, do you feel like spiteful, like, fuck these guys, like they're getting paid to play the same game, but I'm on that level? Or do you appreciate it, like, oh man, cool, that guy made it? Like, what is your mindset like going into it against those teams?
I appreciate it because it's good for the sport to have teams and organizations that can offer opportunity for players, right? sometimes it's frustrating, of course, you know, if you feel like you're on that level and you have a team that can just field whatever players they want, but both are good. Both are good options. You know, I like both sides. I like, you know, what we have on Dynasty, you build something and try to turn players into those top level guys, right? Which is a challenge in itself. And at this point in my career, you know, we're all on the same page. We've all done this for so long. It's not like there's that much left to prove, right? So it is a cool challenge to try to, you know, we tried to do it with the Ironman back in 2013 and 14, take young kids and try to implement their game to what you think is the way that you can go out and win, you know, try to mold a group of younger players into what it takes. But it's definitely hard, of course, you know, when you have teams like Impact and Heat that can get whatever players they want and put together, you know, it makes the mountain that much steeper to climb for sure. But as far as any spite, it's never about that, you know, as long as we're doing whatever we can to be the best and I'm doing whatever I can to be as good as I can be out there. You know, I'm going to be fine with that. What results we get, you know, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cause as we've seen time and time again, it's not always about the money, you know. They have paintball guns. Everybody's got a paintball gun out there, and it's equality for all, no matter what's going on behind the scenes. It's like whoever brings it is going to get it. Whoever wants it is going to get it. And the team, like you were saying earlier, Mouse, the entire organization has to be dialed in and perfect, damn near perfect, the entire event, you know, to really claim those big titles.
It does make the wins feel a lot better, right? Like, you know, Dynasty winning in 2020, winning World Cup, or when we won back in, you know, 2017, those wins feel a whole lot better. You know, it feels like it was just that much harder. You know, I guess, quote unquote, earn it the hard way. Not that you guys don't, though. You know, you guys work just as hard, if not harder. You guys have the funding to be able to practice more and do certain things together that some teams can't, you know. And my position isn't, I guess I would maybe be spiteful if I was a team like, you know, the old Boom or DMG. You know, you build up these players and every time you get close, your players get poached and taken. That would suck. You know, that would be a bummer, but I'm not quite in that position, of course, you know. And so I guess for those teams, it's a little bit of a bummer, but again, it's good for the sport, right? If there's no players that are making money, if there's no players that are able to have an opportunity where they can make paintball their full-time job, then what are we doing? You know? So yeah, it's one of those things you can easily go back and forth on, but at the end of the day, I think it's good for the sport to have teams that people like Bart, you know, and Randy. It is good that they can take care of their players and their players can focus 100% on paintball. You know, I want to see more of it. So
yeah. I pray to God that someday that, like,
all
dude, that's the goal. That's the goal, right? We want to get all these pro players paid. I mean, and then what that's going to do is that's going to drive the engine of the game forward. Then we're going to have more participants trying to capture those goals, and it's going to push the athleticism even further, the mentality, the gameplay. It's all going to progress. So, like, we got to make sure that we just keep nurturing it and pushing it forward together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's drop back into the timeline, boys.
Back to the timeline. I feel like we just kept stepping through portals here.
I love it, dude. Time travelers.
We have questions for you too. We just want to like we love hearing the Goldman story. It's Goldman Day on PTG World.
Goldman Day, baby.
So let's run it. Let's go.
Well, hey, take a break through the timeline portal anytime and ask a question, but I'll carry on.
Okay,
of course. Okay, absolutely. So I'd like to fast forward to 2007 Cup. So this one, this is the last time I think they did best out of 3.
Yeah.
At the Cup.
Well, that was crazy.
What a gauntlet if you got to play a best out of 3, because one game against the team's enough.
And it was the amount of time that these games was insane.
Two 25-minute halves.
25-minute halves.
Like
50 minutes each game.
But we think that's insane, but we also had 15 guys on a roster.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So it kind of balances things.
Because you would rotate typically. You'd have line 1, line 2, and
It was easy to say, let me catch a breather. You got 20 other guys that were ready to play.
Yeah, it was crazy how many people were on a team at that time.
God,
Armies.
You had to pick up some walk-ons sometimes if you had just to fill the roster.
Yeah. Get them on the squad.
I don't want to say any names, but you know who you are. You know who you are.
Let them know. Let them know.
Oh, man.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah, God bless them.
Oh, they know. They're not in the game anymore.
Jesus,
dude, we got Mouse crying on the show. He's laughing so hard.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Hey, savages eat for free, man. That's why he's one of the best in the world. You know, he's earned it.
I like that guy.
Yeah. Let's go.
So, it was one of the most historic finals against the Russians, best out of 3. So I think we win the first game.
No, we lost the first game.
Oh, we lost the first game.
We lost the first
game.
game.
Huge pressure.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of dominated us.
They did. It was 11-2.
So, God, the name of the game back then.
Yeah. that was a good one.
No, that was definite.
Yeah.
The name of the game I felt like a lot back then was either shooting off the break. Not that it isn't now, but it was way more important back then because of the balls per second. It was 15 back then. So shooting off the break was huge. And then holding zones. I mean, it felt like it was easier to make moves back then, but I think that was more so just because people weren't disciplined on their guns.
For sure. Yeah.
Because if we had that today, no one would make a move.
There'd be no moves.
Not that anyone does now, but
I know with these fields.
No, it's getting better. It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
It's aggressive these days.
It has been. It has been. The layouts definitely help too. There's been some good design layouts. So we end up losing that first game at Cup in the finals against the Russians, and then I remember we had a really detailed meeting about how to approach that second game. And then we come back and smash them. It was a big deficit. And now we're at 1-1. And then the third game, is that when you had your epic one-on-one against Kirill, the third match?
No, the second match.
Huge.
It was the second match.
Second?
So, yeah,
but it was a huge momentum swing.
The game was tied 1-1. And it was a long, 9-minute point. And then once we won that point, we won 11-1, something like that. 11-2 or 3.
Dude, that's epic. So I had been fighting for a moment like that. And Marcelo finally got his, and he steps up. And I think I might have been envious at that time. I think now I'm more mature, so I would have been really happy for him. But I'm God damn it, I wish that was me.
Well, it would have been you if you were on the field. You know, we were both prepared for that moment, man. We were.
No, you killed it, dude.
Yeah,
that
dude.
Was epic.
To this day,
watching that one.
I
was nervous watching it.
Just how many people were in the stands, you know, it was just a different.
My God.
Yeah, to this day, that was one of the bigger paintball moments, and being so
young. Do you remember that, Tyler?
Oh yeah. The stands were lit.
They had a grandstands in the back of each start gate, and then the snake sideline.
And the stands were lifted up high too.
Yeah.
Huge.
So you could really see into the field.
I wish the NHL would do that again.
The flattest, most pristine grass.
One of the best fields we've ever played on. Absolutely. Yeah.
Really hope Tom Cole listens to this one.
The elevated stands, dude, are man, game changer. It just looks so professional.
It's just little things like that.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what the cost is, the difference in elevated stands versus regular bleachers.
I don't know, but it's
something
worth it.
Keep it in Tom Cole bank. So.
The stands, dude. You're right. That little element changes everything, dude. Just having it lifted up. Yeah. And then
you could barely even hear the buzzer for the start of the point because you just hear this. It's literally so epic.
It felt like a real sport for sure, dude. Being in an arena. It was loud. It was epic. It was crazy.
It was like you're a gladiator trying to survive in the center stage. Like you shoot a few guys and then you wait for the lions to come out.
Yeah.
You know?
Straight up. Yeah.
Facts, dude.
Dude.
Man.
Imagine someday if we play in a stadium with 10, 15,000 people around, how much like that adds a layer to the game as well, you know?
That's actually a huge, really great point there, Tyler. Is we would have to adapt the game to where we would have to be mic'd up with each other.
Yes, for sure.
We would have to,
for
because
sure.
the game is solely on communication.
I agree.
That's right.
Yep.
Maybe the stadium would have to be designed in a way where it kind of gets blocked out from the actual field, because how does NFL do it? You got the quarterback calling the calls. They obviously hear it on the field, right?
Yeah, and they're not mic'd up. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fields are so big.
Just a design.
Yeah, you're right.
There's an architecture to the stadium. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be interesting though. I'm so curious about, because you know, in my heart, I know that paintball is going to do that someday, you know, whether it's 50 years down the line or,
I hope.
I know it will, because it's just too much fun. You can't have something that's this much fun not be ultra successful. As much as people want to try and hold it down, it's just too much fun to play, you know?
So are we allowed to talk political here?
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want, baby.
Man.
Yeah.
What conclusion have you guys came to? Is it just paintball as a whole, the players, or who's running it is what stopped us from that next level?
What? Yeah.
Go ahead,
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think it's a mix of everything, right? I think, it's everyone a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah. And I think we're getting close, actually. I think there's more eyes on paintball than ever before. You see our stuff being shared on SportsCenter. It's being more widely accepted. I think the more that we continue to build and have, you know, pro players that are putting content out and getting it in front of more people's eyes, you know, I think it's going to start to catch on more and more. You know, now the hurdle we're going to run into is how we let some of these sponsors in, you know, but I feel like it's just a matter of time when one of these big companies does see that, hey, this is a profession. Why don't we sponsor this league? Let's get some, you know, Gatorade bunkers or what transfuse bunkers, whatever it might be. I think once one happens, the dominoes might start to fall. I don't think that I don't buy into the whole paintball's too hard to watch. I don't buy into that, because I enjoy watching paintball. I think you guys enjoy watching paintball, and I know it's because we understand the game. I didn't enjoy watching football when I was a kid because I didn't understand it. 4 downs, like move the chains. What is this? What's that? I didn't get it. It's a pretty common sport. Almost everybody understands football. I didn't enjoy watching it. Even now that I understand football and basketball, I love basketball, but I don't want to watch a team that I don't know any of the players. I'm invested in players and personalities and athletes. You know, that's what I watch. So I think if we can tell those stories with paintball and get people interested and have people understand what we do, paintball is a great game to watch. You know, of course, production can be a little bit better. We can improve stuff with the telestrator and slow motion replays. Like slow motion paintball is sick to watch. Slow motion paintball is really badass. When you see like a good move or a sweet shot, like imagine, you know, like seeing your move in slow motion in that match where you leave the corner, go up and watch the ball, leave your barrel and connect on Greg Crossfield, like that kind of stuff. You see the paint explode. Dude, the average person that doesn't know a thing about the game could watch that and go, whoa, that's sick, you know? So I think it's a matter of time. I think we need to stay on this course and, you know, not get impatient. For us, it might feel like it's been a lifetime or it's been too long, but really it's been, you know, not that long in the grand scheme of things. Other sports have been around for 100 years.
Yeah. We're just a baby. We're just babies in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're lords of Dogtown time right now.
Yeah. You know,
hell yeah.
We're
That's
cutting
tight.
the teeth for the future generations and paving the way for what's going to happen with paintball. And like, you know, in 2007 during this World Cup finals, these are moments that continue to push the game forward. You know, they're huge moments and then we could have never seen the recession that came, and that's kind of what slowed things down. But now I feel like we're really hitting an upswing here. And I think that people need paintball in their lives more than they ever have. And they're finding paintball and really falling in love with the game. And we've had tons of cool stories of people, you know, listening to the show and falling in love with paintball. But just to get back to World Cup in that finals game, on that third game, How did everything go with that one?
So, well, now we had stolen the momentum because, yeah, it's 1-1, but we had won that most recent game. And I remember it was Marcelo's line just kind of took off with it and played like the last half of the match. And, man, shout out to Crunchy. He was on the team.
Crunchy, dude.
Yeah.
Crunchy, man. Sean
I
McDonald.
miss Crunch.
I do
Yeah.
too, man.
He's the best. One of the funniest guys to ever play the game. And
Hands down.
very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, what a great guy. And I just say that because I'm sitting in the pit with him watching Marcelo's line just take off with the match. And at that point I was happy. You know, it's like, holy crap, we did it. We did it. It's only 2 years ago we kind of just, Marcelo and I were dreaming of this, and
seriously
to be a part of it was
you won World
insane.
Cup.
And in no better way, in no better fashion, beating the Russians, which was arguably the best team other than us, proving it at that point.
Oh yeah, they're machines. People were like, are they robots? Like, where'd these guys come from? You know, they're monsters.
I mean, they still own that. Yeah.
I know, man. I'm stoked. I get to play next to Mishka and Fedorov.
That's
you know,
right.
The
That's
dream
so
come true,
awesome, man.
to be able to run with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that was always one of my goals, was to play with one of those guys, whether it was on the Russians or with them. But if it doesn't happen at this point, I've came to terms with it.
We always have 10-man. We always have 10-man. That's the cool thing about 10-man.
I don't think they're that good though at 10-man.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7-man.
Because they weren't that good at 7-man either. I'll sit that one out.
You know what Fedorov said? Fedorov said on the show when we had him on that he had never played recreational paintball until like a year or a couple years ago. Was like his first time ever playing something besides X-ball or like speedball. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It's crazy.
And if you probably dissect his game, there's probably something to that, to where he's either, not saying missing something, but I'm sure there's something to be said that to be able to play all aspects of the game, 10-man in the woods, hyperball, 7-man. We were so fortunate to play every evolution of the game. And I think that's what kind of created our full package of a player. And you don't see that in today's game. You know, it's just generations, right? It's like we're the last generation in our age to grow up without all this technology today. And now you see kids growing up in today's world where they have that phone attached to them.
Oh, it's a way different world, dude. Yeah.
I think being able to play in the woods, especially like communication, we all started in the woods. So to me, the concept of never playing in that, like imagine if the first time you step onto a paintball field ever is an X-ball field. Like you're just going to be hardwired to play fast and aggressive. And of course you can learn all the different paces, but there is something to, that's why we talk about it a lot. You know, there's something to playing in the woods, playing on hyperball fields. You have to get crafty and creative with different things. Communication's a big part of the game. Yeah, for sure. I think there's something.
I just think they're not those players that are solely structured with X-ball aren't as open-minded to the strategy of paintball in a whole, if that makes any sense.
It does. Yeah.
You know, I think you have a better understanding of what you can and can't get away with if you've played all aspects.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat running around in the thicket of the woods. That's crazy out there.
You know, it's the best. You are one of the most dangerous motherfuckers that's played in the woods, man. I stay far from you.
Crafty.
God damn.
Crafty.
You're like the mysterious creature, Bigfoot, man.
I'm just lurking. I'm lurking out there.
Is different. He's different in there.
Yeah, dude, it's a good time, man. We get to play on cap together at some point here, I'm sure.
All three of us will be.
I'm not.
Oh, no, smart man. I think I'm with you, Mouse. I don't know.
Smart man.
Dude, I think I'm with you. It's not worth
Wow,
it.
it's a great time. No,
You get
I mean,
injured.
but I'm just saying I have a hard enough time getting my schedule to be able to take time off from work now. And I could get fired.
Real life.
I'm able to play whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, real life. And there's freaking sticks that are like knives sticking up out of the ground that you can land on, and it's just like yeah. I'm like, why? I was like, what in the hell am I doing out here? No, I'm joking. But it is fun. But at the same time, I got a job to do on the paint, like the pro field. You know what I'm saying? I can't like go risk it all for like a WWE belt. You know what I'm saying? Oh man.
Welterweight woods ball league.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
All right, so let's dive back in, dude.
Back to
wait.
the timeline.
Oh wait.
Portal.
Yeah. Oh wait. Fresh off the cup. So I already told you guys I'm not perfect.
This is
fun.
fun.
The same mistake. I go right back to Aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hinman had proven at this point.
You went back to Aftermath right after you won World Cup.
And I was just about to explain.
Oh boy.
Hinman had proven right there that he had a huge influence on me as far as my decision making. And I didn't even plan on it because obviously I just come off a win with the best team. And Aftermath was out practicing in the off season because Ironman took a huge break in the off season. It was a veterans group there. And when we didn't have to play, those guys were nowhere to be found. And rightfully so. They were at the tail end of their career. But I still really was heavily involved and I wanted to play every chance I got. So I was just out there with Aftermath playing one weekend and Hinman kind of brushed the idea and I made a spontaneous decision. And I mean, looking back, was it the best decision? Probably not, especially the way I went about it. But like I said,
what did Oliver say?
So this is the most interesting thing about it all. So I leave and Oliver was on a trip somewhere out of the country. He comes back and finds out like a week or two later. And this guy was livid with me because we had bonded so close because, and no offense to Marcelo, this guy would always tell me like, man, you're next up. You're going to be doing it, man. You're going to fill some legendary shoes. And I never thought much of it because again, I'm just going through this process and I'm at such a young age. All I cared about was just playing the game. You could tell me I was the best. People joke and say like, I have this ego, but I'm so sarcastic. Like, even if I do think I'm the best, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm still willing to work hard. And I know anyone can beat me on any given day. So I don't know why anyone ever brings stuff like that up. But
dude, you're just having fun, bro. Yeah, you're having fun.
I have this theme now where I just come back in the pit. If I come back from feasting in a point, I'll tell the team, fuck, man, I'm the fucking GOAT, guys. But that's just me having fun with it. That's just me purely having fun with it. And if you're taking that offense to that, that's on you. So, and honestly, I think I've earned that to be able to either talk shit about it or be serious about it. So.
And words manifest reality. You know what I'm saying? You start telling yourself you're the GOAT, you're going to be the GOAT. You tell yourself you're the best, you're going to be the best, you know?
You're right. So, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're spot on, man.
Go get it.
So, man, this guy, and like, if I was in his position, looking back on it now, I definitely think he overreacted because at the end of the day, come on, man, it's just paintball. It's like, yeah, this is our lives, but if a guy leaves the team, like you're gonna like hate him for, and eventually we came to terms and became friends again. But I was so young, and maybe that was part of his strategy. He knew that it would play an effect on my mental because I really got sad about it when Oliver was like really hateful towards me once I left, because I that was one of the guys that truly inspired me to, because he was the guy doing it. And I knew that there was a chance that if I continued the path that I was on, that I could take it to that level or further if I thought I could. So for him to tell me all these hateful things, it's like it paid like a huge impact because of the influence he had on me. But I never let that and that was just me enjoying paintball and my goal to prove to be one of the best in this game. So now here we are in 2008. I'm 18, which is so young now that I think about it. And now I'm on Aftermath, and this is our Aftermath as a franchise first year pro. So you can only imagine the struggles that the team went through, because how hard it is to jump into the pro scene as a young up and coming pro team. I think the most successful team to ever do it was X Factor.
Yeah. They won their first year.
We were good, man. Yeah. They won an event, right? Yeah. We got close that first year in 2008. I think we took a few seconds, if not one. And, I mean, we knew we were at that level. We just never were showing the consistency throughout that year. But we knew we could dance with any top team. We just had a bunch of head cases, and me being one of them. And that
was a fun team. That was a fun team.
You guys did win.
No. Tyler, you didn't join till 2009.
Right.
I know, but I was watching you guys. I was just
fair
man.
Enough. There was a lot of personality on the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it looked like from the outside looking in. Yeah.
It was great, man. Inspiring. It's inspiring.
It was. Yeah. That's a good word to use. It was a fiery team. And sometimes it played into our advantage. Most of the time it didn't, though. And I think that's one of the toughest lessons that these young up and coming pro teams have to battle, is that mental game. Knowing the actual distance of a match and knowing that you're not truly out of it till the end of a game, you know, when that last buzzer horns. And so nothing really eventful that year happened.
You guys won though.
Not in 08.
That was
Jacksonville 08.
7-man.
I thought that was okay. So this is where I probably should have took notes.
No. And the only reason I know is because Moose is going to listen to this. Shout out to Moose.
Shout out to Moose time.
That was his tournament, baby. Let's go, Moose.
Yeah. Well, that just blows my story then for the 08. But aside from that win, it was a bit of a struggle all season.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that we were able to put that together.
This is big for the story, and so I'll just kind of spark it, but the story you told about you leaving and going back to Aftermath and Oliver saying a lot of those things to you, and that's somebody you looked up to. You guys kind of became instant enemies, and you went head to head with him against us on the Ironman in 08 in that event in Jacksonville on the snake side, and you prevailed. You played out of your mind on that side of the field, and you guys beat us in the finals, best of 3 7-man. So that's like,
okay.
Let's talk through that, man. How did that feel? Because that's the first time that you were able to climb the mountain, right?
So I thought that was the next year. My bad. Most of that season was the struggle. So Jacksonville was about mid-season. It was a 7-man event. And this is when 7-man was, you play 8 prelims, 8 quarterfinals, best out of 3 semis.
I believe so.
Am I right?
In the semis,
or is there? Yeah. And then best out of 3 finals. So we fight our way through prelims, fight our way through quarters. We get to the semis. And this is when Fox Sports filmed this tournament.
That's right.
In Jacksonville. So that was pretty cool. And we had such a young squad. So we had myself, Stephen Pitts, Bobby Aviles. Sorry if I leave out names. I know Whisper, Rainey. And so here's such a funny thing to me. LaSoya, and somehow we were an Eclipse team. This guy was personally sponsored by Dye shooting a DM.
That's why he can do whatever he wants, dude. He's a legend.
Yeah, that man does
And
what he
I'm
wants.
pretty sure that guy was out rocking every night.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That guy's badass though, man. To be able to
Yeah.
share a win with him is so
Oh,
surreal.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
before I get to that, we end up playing the Hurricanes in the semis, and this is where they had I mean, the only play I really remember, or a few of them, was Thomas Mantoni and Billy Bernaccia.
Mhm.
And it went to one-on-ones. So if it didn't get decided out of a best out of three, which usually meant you tied one and each team won a game, it went to one-on-ones, best out of three in that. Or was it best out of three? I think so. Well, we ended up playing 3 one-on-ones. Yeah. Okay. And I ended up playing the last one-on-one. Bobby went first. He wins his one-on-one. Chris goes second. And I remember Chris and I in the pit watching Bobby play. And Chris keeps looking at me like, you going next? And I'm fucking nervous. I go, no, Chris, you go next. You go next, man. He's like, are you sure? Because he was nervous too, I think, a little bit.
Yeah,
he was afraid to blow it. And Chris goes out there. And unfortunately, he ends up losing his. And so now it's up to win or lose who goes on. And I end up playing Thomas Mantoni. And no one ever even knew this. I'm playing the one-on-one. I end up going up to a car wash, which was like towards the center of the field, more so towards the snake. I don't even see Thomas, but just like my natural reaction to how I just played is I came over the top and just start ripping because I totally lost him. And a paintball connects. And the only reason I knew is because the crowd erupted.
Dude.
But I played it off like I knew where the shot was.
Yeah, of course.
Not to
awesome.
say that if I would have ended up obviously finding them, that I could have fought my way through it and battled them out. But it was just funny that I just hit him on a limb shot.
Dude, that's instinct.
Yeah,
that's years. No, that's years of preparation,
instinct.
man. That's years of preparation, knowing your opponent, where they might go.
Yeah, but
hearing things like that's not all luck, dude. That's instinct. That's what that is.
Fair enough. But when you go into a one-on-one, you envision like you get to a bunker, he gets to a bunker, and you battle it out till someone gets cracked. I didn't even know where he was, and I just ripped a lane right over the top of the car wash, and one cracked him. I don't even know what bunker he was in.
All right, you got lucky.
He had the wall hacks.
I got lucky.
Dude, he had wall hacks there for sure.
And I only shot just so he would react off it, but he ended up catching one. So
yeah.
What a rush, man. I mean, the crowds were big back then. And everyone went nuts. So now we go into the finals. And it's against the Ironman. Yeah. And Marcelo's on the team, Oliver, they had all their guys. And I remember just a funny moment of us, like, because at that time in 7-man, both teams would be in the same pit, filling air and letting the ref chrono.
Yeah.
So it was like this awkward moment where you had to stand in the same pit with the opponent. Yeah. Whether you liked or hated them, you had to share that moment right before you stepped on the field, which I thought was so interesting. And I remember they would throw that was your chance to throw little jabs at each other. And first game, we end up winning, right?
To be honest, I don't remember the order it went in.
No, I think so. Yeah. So we end up winning the first game. So it's best out of 3. We're in the finals here of the tournament. I remember Oliver crawls up in his way into the 50 snake. I get up into our snake too. I see him round it right into the 50 snake. My only mission was to go hurt that guy. I just got up. Whether I was going to get the trade or survive, I didn't even care. I stuck that guy as hard as I could. And someone ends up clipping me trying to dive into their snake. But I remember Spitz, Dalton, and Bobby end up closing that game. Second game, which was actually interesting, I get into their snake so fast. But again, Oliver's so stuck on my mind, and I know he's right in front of me. I make the mistake of just playing the tape and trying to come over the top thinking I'm poisoned with him, because this layout was you had your S1, which was easy to make running off the break. And then there was a gap to get to that S2. And it was kind of dicey if you didn't time it and get to that gap. So I thought he had already crossed that gap, but he was in S1 waiting for me, and just the veteran plays, waiting for the over the top for whatever reason. And I come over the top, he clips me. I'm out. And it ends up coming down to a one-on-one with Whisper and Oliver. And I remember having multiple conversations with Whisper, how he wishes he would have played that one a little more aggressive just to try to steal the win right there. But it ends up being a stale. So now we have a win and a stale, and Ironman obviously have to win that next match just to bring it to one-on-ones. We just needed to either stale or win the game. So that last game, we break out and we get a few quick G's because one of them ends up getting caught playing on Nikki or
No. Scott Kemp got a major penalty for having metal spikes in his shoe.
No, it wasn't.
Somebody
was hit,
dude. I swear I got pulled for it. We've talked about this with Scott on the show. Dude, it stunk. This stupid ref.
That's completely untrue because Rainey comes through to your guys' car wash and shoots Skemp, shoots you. So you have that one wrong.
I think
this is why I'm telling the story, by the way.
I think that was the first one. I'm telling you, Scott got a penalty for having spikes in his cleats. It was
okay.
BS. I'm not saying that to take away from the win. I'm truly not, dude. I know
exactly.
It sounds like
most
that
important
sucks.
thing is
dude.
Aftermath
I'm just
wins the tournament.
Yes, for sure.
I remember
you guys did.
grabbing the flag from their start gate and looking into their dead box like, got you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. 100%.
That's hilarious.
100%.
That one had to feel good then. Absolutely.
Well, it was the Aftermath's
the
first
greatest
pro win.
moment.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. We won Cup the year before.
That was
and
semi-pro.
LA Open.
That was semi-pro. I said it was
No,
Aftermath.
Ironman 07.
I know. I said it was Aftermath's
I
first.
thought you said it was mine. Sorry.
No.
Got you. Right. Yep. And fuck, what a huge moment, man. I mean, that was the biggest moment in my paintball experience up to that time. And then after that, the rest of the year is kind of a blur to me. Then we go into the 09 season. Now I'm 19. And this is where Tyler joins Aftermath, and so does Marcelo.
Yeah, that was a fun year.
Marcelo ended up getting cut from the Ironman.
I did, yeah. So what's funny about that? What's funny about that is it's similar to your story of when you left the Ironman, because we go into the off season and the guys didn't want to practice. You know, veterans, whatever you want to call it. In 2008, we win the World Cup, and we still had one event left to play, that 7-man, and nobody wanted to practice that field. You remember I was coming out and practicing with Aftermath for like the 4 weeks leading up to the event. Nobody on the Ironman wanted to go. We were in first place. All we had to do was win one game at that event to be the first team to win the series and take it from Dynasty since the inception of the NPPL. All we had to do was win one game out of the 8 prelims. We show up to the event, and the team just played atrociously. And I'll never forget, there was this tower on the snake side that could shoot down on the snake and stop people from coming down. And I kept saying, we need to go to this bunker. And the guys, Billy Wing, Oliver, wouldn't listen, just 100% disagreed with me. And I had a bad attitude problem back then, you know, like I knew that I was right, but I didn't know how to express my feelings. I didn't know how to get my point across or even be a team player and understand that, hey, nobody on the team wants to do this. And even if I'm right, I got to still buy into the system, you know? So I'll never forget. I mean, I took my gear off. I already had it in my mind that I wanted to come back and play with Aftermath, you know, like everyone was coming back. We were practicing together every weekend. I took all my gear off and didn't even finish the last match of the event with the Ironman. So when Billy called me and let me know that I was cut, it really wasn't a surprise. It was kind of like, okay, this was coming, kind of, you know, walked out of that one. But in any case,
yeah, damn.
There we go.
You know, well, that makes a lot more sense. I don't even remember that whole thing.
And then 09, we got to form Megatron, and we got the crew together.
It was almost Megatron.
Almost
Megatron.
We almost won that Chicago
We were just
event.
too young. Yeah, we were just so young.
Yeah.
We were so young, or else it would have really worked out, you know. Nowadays, it'd be a different story, but.
Whew. Sheesh. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Had that team.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Yeah, we played Russia in Chicago, and we took second place out at that one.
Mhm.
And they were just outclassed us. You know, they were
Oh,
just
They kicked our ass. It was like
they had
6-1.
they won by scouting report. I mean,
Yeah.
they screamed
Yeah.
out where we were going every breakout.
Yeah.
If that doesn't demoralize you before the start of a point,
They had every single position.
everything. And honestly,
Yeah.
I was pretty upset with how far you made us run on the warm up before the finals.
Talking to me?
Yes. You made us go on a 5K before the finals. We went through the goddamn Tough Mudder, and I didn't have any energy to play that last match. So,
Well, dude,
that didn't help either.
We also just went through a grinder against Philly. We beat Philly in overtime
actually
in the semifinals.
Backs my argument for why you should have never made us do that ridiculous warm up.
5K mutter.
I was trying to bring the team together.
Wanted to take the goddamn scenic route and go to like the top of the park and talk.
There's a nice trail. Make sure we're all
We
dialed
could have
in.
done it 10 feet from the pit, but you wanted to get wild with it.
Oh man.
Damn, dude.
So,
See, once upon a
this is
time,
big,
I was in better shape than Mouse, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I guess. But there's something to this. It's true, man. Like, don't kill yourself before, you know, a big game doing.
For sure.
And some teams need it to get up or whatever, but take it easy, you know, save that energy, because you're going to need it for that final point.
Yeah, it was maybe
you got to conserve it, man.
Maybe a little too far. Hey, you live here, dude. I was 19. I was 19.
That's it.
Right.
Oh, 9.
That's crazy. Think about that. We were like 19, 20 years old. That's pretty crazy.
So young.
Kids.
Oh, young.
Think of like the stories we've already told of like the wins. And Tyler's right there. We were all 20, under 20 years old, 18, 19. Like you don't see that these days. It's not.
Well, because I look at like my teammate Brandon Cornell as a baby. Not like he's a man.
Right.
He carries himself very maturely, but like,
of course,
age-wise, at least with our gap, is like I look at him like such a young guy, and he's 25 or 24, 25, and he's older than these experience I'm talking about. It's so nuts to me.
It is crazy.
Yeah. It is.
So
well, the three of us sitting here, we experienced something very unique, and even to have us all having this conversation is really special, because you know what we experienced as paintball players, 99% of the youth paintball players will never ever experience. You know, it's crazy.
Well, everybody's got their own journey, but we took such an epic route.
Yeah, it's been crazy, and here we are, still going for it, dude.
I know, right?
Still going for it. Yeah,
still playing the game.
That's it. And then
all right,
so 09, that was about
in.
all that, and then 010 is
yeah, so then
you guys pulled some shady shit in 2010.
And why is that?
when we were supposed to merge with Infamous, and then
I
was like, what the hell?
I didn't even know what was going on. I mean, I figured out
what was going on
was there. Yeah, but I had no say.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
I was just kind of following the wave. But I could see now that there was a strategy to kind of separate a certain group, which is unfortunate, man, because God, who knows what we could have done with that combination.
100%.
So the Infamous took a portion of the roster.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a combination of part Aftermath and Infamous merge, and it didn't work out. I wasn't in those discussions, so I really don't know why it didn't work out. Maybe there just wasn't agreements on the logistics. I have no idea. Again, I was just a player trying to play paintball. So, and I wasn't even getting paid or anything in this moment. So 2010 was a weird one because Aftermath, they like restructured the pro division or something going into 2010, because for some reason we went to semi-pro for the first event in Phoenix in 2010 as Aftermath. You guys don't remember that, huh?
I don't. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. That was like the semi-pro division when they had Entourage.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't
Damn, I
remember
forgot
too
about
well,
that.
but
That's
I remember we
crazy.
played the first event semi-pro, and as we should have, because the only true pros was Steven and I, Steven Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a bunch of kids from a already formed divisional team that honestly, like, I don't remember too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
after that Phoenix event, Hinman decided to go back to pro. So then it was a Chicago event again in 2010 now. And now I'm 20 years old. And we end up picking up Damian Ryan for the pro team. And so now we have myself, Steven Pitts, and Damian, who are the only true pros. And then we had like up and coming divisional players, like at the time, Eric Humphreys, who ended up going to the Ironman and being a pretty nasty pro player. And then Mike Mesa, who had his moments as a pro player.
Mesa.
And a couple other young guys who kind of fell out of the scene.
Was Keikoa
2010, he wasn't on that team. 2009, he was.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Shout out
right.
to the Hawaii scene.
Yeah.
Keikoa was a baller.
Danny Park? Was Danny Park on that 2010 team?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting group and dynamic.
Sure.
A lot of kids that don't play today. So we end up getting, I think, like a top 4 performance, maybe
Chicago.
right outside it in Chicago. But dude, we went off that event for the roster we had. This was a tournament where I started to like really reinvent X-ball. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because you had guys like Fedorov and Oliver who would run and shoot to the snake in previous years.
Mm-hmm.
But this event in particular, I was running and shooting to the snake every point, and every team we played knew it and still couldn't shoot me. And I think it was because I had my paint so accurate back into the back center that they would rather tuck in and hide and let me have my route and give me the snake than to just ride it out and get hit. And sometimes they would ride it out and I would have the ball there, shoot the guy that had the only eyes on me off the break, and just immediately run through and stab some dudes. I felt one of my best performances up to date at that point in my career, which was unfortunate because we didn't even get to the finals in that event. We ended up losing to Infamous, which is actually really funny. Team we were supposed to form with. And that's actually such a weird situation. So we end up playing Infamous in that tournament and mercy them 7-1 or 7-0. I don't know what the mercy roll was. It's always like 6 or 7. They always switch it up with how they feel every offseason.
Pretty much.
But it's a
5, 6, 7.
We just play. That's it.
We just play, man. We just play. So, but they ended up beating us on Sunday.
That taught us
which
a
is
lot.
Always a weird thing. What?
That taught us.
Right. And Marcelo was on that Infamous team.
Bobby, Zach.
Wait, weren't Tyler was on Infamous too, or?
No. I was gonna go to that team for that season, but I went to Damage instead. I went to like the first practice, and then Damage kind of like it. Well, Damage made me an offer I couldn't really turn down at that time. And I was like, okay.
Damage had the loot at that time.
So they helped me out there.
Right on. So and then the next event was MAO in North Carolina, and again, so then now Damien has his whole situation and doesn't play with us that next event. So now we were down like one veteran body, and we end up just going with our same squad minus Damien, and we end up taking a 3rd place. And we had such a good showing at that tournament, but again, Russians exposed us in the semis, and I don't even know who ended up winning that tournament.
Ironman.
Wow. Yeah. And for whatever reason, Hinman doesn't put a team in that year for Cup. So then Rainey and I, no, that was 09. We ended up going and playing for Vicious in Cup. See, this is where I should have took notes. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
No.
It's all good. It's a long
You
time
can
ago,
kinda-
too, by the way.
It's so
Yeah.
much, man.
Yeah.
You can cliff
So
note it too. You know, you
Yeah.
don't have to dig
Oh,
super
okay.
deep.
Hold on. I remember this. Okay, so 2010, Hinman kind of disbands the team. And I end up playing the last 7-man with Dynasty, but I don't go to Cup with them because at this point, Dynasty's like trying to refine themselves. And they were going through a struggle. I mean, this was a point where they weren't making Sundays, and every team goes through it, you know? And unfortunately, that was the time they were going through it. So I was just arrogant and was like, these guys can't play paintball, so I'm not going to Cup with them. It was stupid. That was ridiculous on my part, but whatever.
Well, I remember this time because right before I got on Dynasty with like Kyle and with Spica and Short, everyone was like, this team is done. Dynasty will never win again. That's what
We thought that was the fall of the dragon at that time.
That was the time when everybody was like, this team will never win again. And then you know,
but we did though. We won in 2012 at the NPPL. I guessed it with them.
That's
we
right.
We would have went there.
This guy loves to jump the gun. We were gonna get there, man.
We were gonna get there, man.
Yeah.
Set the record straight. All right, let's go back to you and Oliver. Come back. You guys make up. You hug. You guys both go to Dynasty in 2011.
So like the hatred Oliver had for me kind of died out around when I was 20 in 2010 season. And in 2011, since there was no more aftermath, so now this was my moment to go play for Dynasty. It just made sense. That was the local team. I wasn't getting paid, so I didn't really care about any offers. And Dynasty had always been a legendary team. And regardless of the relationship, friendship that Oliver and I had went through with the arguments and the hatred, we kind of squashed it because we knew how well we played together too at the same time. So
of course.
It was a really cool moment to go to that team for the 2011 season. And at this point, I'm 21. And right away, we just fire on all cylinders. And
actually, you guys beat us, Oakland, in the finals at Vegas, I believe. And we took second. Is that right? Or
no, I played with you on Oakland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was
so the
crazy.
last 7-man in 2010 before I go to Dynasty. Aftermath never played 7-man that year for whatever reason. And Tyler said, yo, I can't promise you're going to play it all, but just come jump on the roster and let's go vibe out in Vegas for this last tournament.
Yeah.
So me and Tyler hit the road. We go to Vegas. I'm going there just to enjoy watching paintball, thinking I'm not play a game. They get smashed. And like I don't remember who the snake player was at the time, but he ends up not playing well that first match. And Baines was on your guys' team, and he kind of stands up for me, and he's like, Bob, like, you know, this kid can play some paintball. Put this kid in.
Yeah.
And again, I go into the tournament thinking I'm not going to play a game. I'm just there to, I don't know, just build pods and enjoy the moment, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but he
puts me in for game 2.
Yeah.
That's what?
You had your moments out there, bro. We took second place in the tournament, but dude, you're stunting. Yeah.
Game 2, it was a straight ladder snake. I run around the snake corner to the snake off the break, go all the way down. I shoot, I don't even know, 5 to 7 backs. And we win that match, obviously. We come back into the pit, and I don't know if like Bob's just trying to keep me humble throughout the event. He goes, hey, next time come up with your gun instead of just peeking with your head first. And I'm thinking in my head, dude, are you kidding me? But
kidding me?
I had to respect him because Bob's a goddamn legend in this game.
Yeah.
And for, what it's worth, he is kind of right. If you are going to peek, probably come out with your gun. So,
and we won we were the first team to win the series title. We didn't win a tournament that year, but we were the first team to win a series title in 7-man over Dynasty. And it was kind of bittersweet because we didn't win a tournament, but we got the title.
But rightfully so. You guys played so consistent. I mean, it sucks, obviously the goal is to win a tournament. Yeah. That's actually a good question. Would you guys rather win a series or just win one tournament that year?
Tournament.
Oh man. Yeah, I think
but not
a tournament.
Any like particular tournament. Not a cup, just like a one-off,
Series title is pretty serious business, though. If you win a series title,
but no one ever talks about it.
If you don't win a tournament and you win the series title, to me, that's soft.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the best. It wasn't the best way to win the series title, but I was like, I'll take it.
Of course. And I'm not calling you soft or anything. I'm just saying, for me, like, dude, gotta win a tournament.
But it's
okay, a little bit. You gotta win a tournament.
The phone there.
You gotta win a tournament.
But it was cool because nobody had ever beat them Dynasty in 7-man or got the title, and we were the first ones. Oakland and Mouse was on the team when we did it, so it was pretty dope.
Hey, I only participated one event, but
you guys were
nasty.
Matters. It matters.
It shows consistency, and that is really difficult. Yeah. But winning a tournament is just so hard. What happened to Dynasty? They were probably right there. They were right there.
We barely squeaked past them with like a couple points to get that. Yeah.
Well, they put it on us in the finals. So
yes, they did. Yeah.
I just remember I would get in the snake against them in that finals, and I could not even get the wire on them. They were just such a force down that line. Mm-hmm. That's when they had Frage playing the one, I think. When did Angel retire? Was that early on? I felt like he was still playing in that time.
He might have been still playing in that time.
It might have been like.
I think that was his last tournament. No?
It might have been. It was right around that time, like 9, 10, somewhere in there is when he stopped playing. But those were, man, so much fun, those Vegas tournaments.
So much fun. God, staying at the Riviera.
Yeah,
the
Rib. Just smelling like an ashtray.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best ever.
God.
Yeah, man. It's just cool that we've been able to, we as youngsters able to travel to, Las Vegas and hang out with the old heads and just see how they move and how they play paintball. It's unreal. It's unreal.
No, yeah. If you're going to do paintball, then we've done it right.
It's
great.
For sure.
So awesome.
The best.
And then 2011 is when you formed with Infamous. Is that right?
No. 12. So this is my first time now getting to play with Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now they picked up Dalton and I. So now Dalton's like the guy going and getting it on the D side, and I'm making a name for myself on that snake side.
Mm-hmm.
And Oliver's back. So, dude, we ended up winning the first 3 tournaments of all 3 leagues. I didn't play Europe with them that year because I ended up working my first job. So I couldn't take time off for Europe. But I did play the PSPs and the NXLs. But we win the first PSP in Galveston. We win the first MPPL, which was fucking awesome because that was my first win in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
Winning those.
So awesome.
Epic.
Ridiculous. So sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on and won the first Millennium. And then after that, we won another 7-man or 2, but we didn't win another PSP, but we finished either second or third in every event after that. So it was like almost like a Oakland performance, like always right there, so consistent. Obviously, you had to put us in the argument as one of the best teams that year. And we were just always so close. And I think we completely lost our momentum, which was another Chicago event. We played the Russians in the finals, and it's like one of the most historical matches in paintball history that's still on YouTube, where this is where Rabikov kind of makes a name for himself on the scene and goes and do that ridiculous flag hang where they used to have the flag next to the X.
Yeah.
And the clock's ticking down with us winning by a point. And this guy goes and ties it. And there's like 3 guys alive still on the field. And he just breaks the gap and runs right through, not even shooting the bodies, but hangs the flag.
That was insane.
It was one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever seen someone get away with without having to cheat it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real. It was nasty.
He did it, man.
And that's where it kind of cursed us, and we lost our momentum that year, because like we had that one in the bag, and we gave it to him. And like, no offense to Oliver, that guy had a phenomenal season, phenomenal. But have the match, and that guy ends up. So that last point before Rab does that. Sorry, I'm confused here. We go to overtime. Rab does his move, ties it. We go to overtime. I jump in the snake quick. Oliver ends up getting the kill on the D side and goes right up to the X. But what was a terrible move, because you couldn't really survive in that X just because there were so many angles to shoot under it and shoot that guy in the foot. And you had to play like in a weird slanted angle to play that X. And it was just awkward, but he got excited because he saw that kill. And I think that guy ended up playing on and got a minor. So now they're down 2 bodies. Oliver gets excited, does his move. And he ends up getting shot out. All we needed to do was kind of chill out, figure out where those 3 bodies were, but everyone kind of just goes off to the races and starts dying with dumb deaths. It ends up coming down to Spitz in the 50 Dorito, and I'm in the 50 Snake. And I got Fedorov in front of me and J-Rab. Fedorov's in the Snake corner, J-Rab's in the God. He eventually matches me in the Snake, and Brenikov's in the back center. So now if I'm thinking back, looking at that situation, Spitz needed to press it and turn the field on him. All he needed to do was either put Bernikov in or Fedorov in the Snake corner. Whoever was on him, he needed to put that body in and keep pressing them to make them, force them to come get the trade with me. Because I was smart enough to catch somebody if they wanted to come run me. But when we're not putting that pressure D side, it allowed Fedorov and Rab to kind of buy them time and figure out to put Rab in a position to come get the trade with me. And if Rab gets the trade with me, obviously now it's a 2-on-1 with Fedorov unabated on that Snake side. Fedorov comes running down the field after Rab trades with me, and Steven puts a ridiculous shot on him across field, clips him in the pack. Fedorov's out. Malloy's down to, I'm not kidding you, 3 balls. Goes and bunkers Steven on a highway move from the back center. Goes to the flag, shows the stands. He's got no more paint in his loader. Game.
Jeez. And this was when there was coaching too, right? On the sidelines?
Yeah. But, I mean, at this point, everyone knows where each other are. There's really coaching's out of the play at this point. But, and it's not anything against Steven, but holy shit, man. If I'm in that moment, I have to press it on that D side and force those guys into a bad move, because you come onto their side. Malloy tries to make that move earlier, and one of us catches him.
For sure.
And now we bring that body count back to even. And now maybe Rab or Fedorov makes a move down the sideline to where I was anticipating it. Because when I'm playing a 2-on-1 down that line, they now have time to control me in first for Rab to get close enough to just get the trade with me. And that's all they needed.
Yeah, of course.
And that's so funny talking to you guys about it now, because I've watched that film countless amount of times thinking, what could I have done different? And I'm not saying that it was Steven's fault, but holy shit, the ball was in his court. And,
Dude, do you
sorry,
remember?
Steve, man. You needed to push that.
Mouse, do you remember when we were on the Ironman together, Steven? I feel like there was a time where anytime he was in a one-on-one, he would try to go bunker the guy because he was just terrified, mortified of that moment.
Which is so weird. Dude, I don't know where that changed for him, because there was also a moment where when we were on his team, we called him the goalkeeper because he bailed us out so many times.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was a transition where he lost that confidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember in 09 playing with Steven and like, yeah, he was the goalkeeper. That fool would win situations where like, yeah, Steven, there we go. But yeah,
dude, there's to date, there's a lot of players that play like that now, where they just panic and don't want that gunfight because they don't want to leave it up to get hit on a gun battle.
Right.
But you got to understand that you got to suck it up and take that pressure and take that gunfight instead of running down the field lawless.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, stand up and throw those punches. It's just like getting into like a, I know you do sparring and stuff and boxing. It probably helps you out tremendously with paintball because it's like a little jab, right hook. You got to know how to throw the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to know when to counter and when to take the licks.
That's it, man.
100%. So let's get into man, dude, that game made a lot of legends because that was also Malloy's first big game. J-Rab.
Yeah, I always joke with Rab, like, no one knew you before that moment. No one knew you.
Dude, it's hilarious that I went to middle school with him.
That's crazy.
I've told you this, dude. It is so
I do
funny.
remember that.
Yeah,
too,
we had a mutual. I never met him, right? But we had a mutual, like, really close friend, and I remember he would always tell me, "There's this other kid, Justin Rabikoff, that plays paintball. He says he always is out there with the Ironman," and I was like, "No, he's not. I'm always out there with the Ironman. I don't know who that is. I had no clue who he was, but I just remember the name. We because we went to a middle school that was right by Dye. His dad worked at Dye back then. And
crazy.
Yeah, it's funny. So what a small world.
So
we got to get him on the show sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I just feel like we're so far in now. Can we answer some questions?
Yeah, dude, let's. Yeah. We can for sure. I agree. Let's speed up a little bit on the cliff notes of them because honestly, we had some amazing years. Dynasty at the end of 2012. We then went to the Ironman 2013-14. We've got some amazing stories there, and then kind of to where you're at now, and we'll kind of breeze through that for sure, and then we'll get to some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so man, joining Impact 2016. I'm 25.
We're not going to talk about the Ironman.
Oh, you don't want to? I thought you were breezing through that favorite. So I could get to the impact point.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, let's we'll speed up the process during those years.
Got you. Yeah. So I end up playing one more season with Dynasty. And then 2013, I'm 23 at this point. I end up going to Ironman with Marcelo and Spitz and some more familiar names. And man, we had A-Rod, that's right. Yeah. And we had a rough 2 seasons. I mean, we had flashes of playing really well, but most of the times it was a lot of struggles. But learning lessons, man. I wouldn't take those moments away. So, but after that 2014 year, so 2014, Impact had started to this is when now I'm starting to get offers to getting paid as a paintball player, cash. And I tried to get out of my contract in the 2014 season, but there was always these weird logistics and political things with the Dye contracts. So I stuck it out. And not that I regret it or anything. I love that Ironman team.
For sure. And we got to play
at some point.
Got to play with Hulk that year.
That's right.
Over in Europe.
Yeah. A shout out to Ukraine, man. Those are some really humble and respectful people. Just not even in, paintball, but outside of paintball is some of the nicest people I've ever met. Just as a culture.
I couldn't agree with
really
you
awesome
more.
experience.
Yeah.
And that was a really fun season with Hulk, man. Marcelo and I really dominated with that team. And we won like 3 out of the 4 or 5 events and took the series. I mean, just smashed, dude.
Awesome.
We dominated. Yeah, it was awesome. And I always joked with Marcelo, like, yo, let's bring this whole team to the pro division. We'll go. I guarantee you we could go smash on Ironman if we were on that team.
Let's go.
So, but I'm trying to fast forward here.
Yeah,
so
course,
then Impact tries to offer me that. So then they get like worried about my contract and don't want to get into this whole
battle.
contract situation. Yeah, where like Dave could suspend me because at this time it was still PSP and Dave owned the league. And so they just didn't want to get involved with me there, not because of my play or anything, but just because of the contract. So I end up finishing out my contract, and then 2015, Infamous didn't care. They're like, yo, we'll take you. We didn't care if there's going to be a penalty. Come aboard. And that was a pretty fun season, but holy shit, was I really broke that year. I mean, I got like 10 vanquishes that were really hard to sell. And I remember a couple of those tournaments, I would like ask Damien, like, yo, dude, can you like buy my lunch, man? I'm fucking hurting here. Like it was getting that bad, you know?
You still ask me
like,
to
I
buy
have
your
a
lunch.
supportive family. That was just because, you know, I like to be tight with my money, but this was a different situation. I was in dire need.
Serious.
But, and not like I was like, you know, starting on the streets or anything. You know, my parents have always supported me through this whole journey. You know, if it wasn't my mom, it was my dad. They always had my back. So I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression there. But I play the 2015 season now. I'm 25 years old. And this is where I feel like I'm really stepping into a whole new realm of my physical. Because now, okay, so I started like lifting and seriously dieting around like 19, 20 years old. So, and I didn't do many cheat meals up until this point. And now I'm 25 years old. So that window of that discipline paid dividends to my physical. And, you know, I always focused on just the strategy of the game and my fundamentals. But when you add that physical part to the game, that can only help and add to the arsenal of your entire game as a package. So I felt like I was running circles sometimes on these teams during moments in that season. We end up winning the first event in Texas, which was PSP's last tournament in PSP
Mudfest.
The Mudfest. Yeah. That was a grimy ass tournament. But again, I'm trying to fast forward here. Then we kind of go on and just fall short every tournament after that. So after that season, I tell Travis, man, I'm sorry. You know, Impact had offered me once. I can't pass it up again. I got to go and play for this team. And aside from financially, this team was a dominant team, Impact. So not only do you have the chance to play with a team that's just going to allow you to focus solely on your game and go take care of business, but now you kind of have like a financial burden lifted off you, and you can just kind of focus on your game and you as a player. And not to say like I'm out here fucking cashing in or anything, but you know, anything helps. And it's a huge shout out to Bart, man, to really take on that financial burden, because holy shit, where would this game be without guys like him and Sarge and just, it's a blessing. It really is, man. It's a huge blessing.
Tremendous. Yeah.
So I just wanted to take a moment to think about that, man. But,
no, you're right, man. It's pushing the game forward.
I just feel like finally after all these years, man, it's like really starting to pay off. And I never even like thought twice, like, when is it going to pay off? I just stayed the course. And maybe that's the, you know, secret in life is don't worry so much on the end result. Just whatever you fall in love with, go all in. And don't be so worried about how it's going to end up, because if you just stay true to yourself, be yourself, and put the time and work in, it will work itself out. You know, I listened to like Joe Rogan. He has a similar thing. He says it's like he never did commentating for UFC for the money, because he even says like the first like 10 fight cards. He commentated for free, but he did it because he loved it. Same story here. I wasn't playing paintball because I was trying to chase a check. You know, it just ended up that way where like I got so good that I could get paid for my skills. So honestly, anyone hating on me that makes this move, like seriously, it's like F you, because you have no idea like the time and effort I've put into this and where I would be if I didn't take this opportunity. So it's like so selfish of you if you've ever badmouthed me about these moves. So
hey, bro,
I just really hope you let that sink in when I'm telling you guys this. Not you, but the listeners.
Of course.
I'm just glad I got to get that out.
Yeah, dude.
So now here we are. I'm 26. And just when I thought I knew it all in paintball, I had to relearn the whole fucking game because I'm with a group that I've never seen such a high Q of paintball ever in my paintball experience. Not to take anything away from you guys. You guys are also in that caliber, but as a cohesive unit where the whole roster understands what the fuck needs to happen, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A complete different ball game. I mean, it's literally business at that point. Granted, these are my brothers. I love these guys. It didn't start out that way. I had a lot of turmoil with some of these guys where it almost got to the point where it was going to be him or I leaving. I'll leave the names out because it doesn't need to even get there. But that had a lot to do with me and my character, my personality, and me going through growing pains where I didn't even know where my problems lied. And dude, I've been on this team now 5 years. And in this 5 years, I've grown more as a person and as a player than I have my whole career because of the opportunity I've gotten to learn, man. This fucking gives me goosebumps. Because,
good, dude. Yeah.
Dude, it's like I would be lost with this opportunity. I really would, man. I can't thank the whole group, the roster, Dave, Bart, everyone, Joe.
Yeah. God
it's
bless
been
you.
a fucking blessing, man. And the least I could do is go out and play and to die out there. That sounds dramatic, but that's my mindset, man.
Yeah.
That's my mindset. And, you know, just like our initial conversations about what is it going to take for it to get to that financial point? Well, it doesn't even need to get there for me to try to play at the highest level possible. So
Of course.
I'm just thankful for the opportunity I'm at, man. And if anyone out there thinks that it's easy to grab these wins because of our financial backing, you have no idea, man, because there's a certain amount of pressure that's held for teams like Impact and Heat because the target is on our back because we are expected to perform and get in the finals every event. But how dare you guys take any effort away from the other top tier teams that don't have that financial backing, because those guys are right in the fight every tournament too. And they've definitely stolen wins from our team and Heat. So I don't.
Yeah.
No, it's well
that
said,
argument
dude.
is
It's well
irrelevant.
said. Yeah. It's
Dude, that was amazing, Mouse, and you're
Cool,
fucking spot on. And I know it's from the heart. It's the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? And it just means a lot to have this conversation with you. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to take it there, guys, but
no, I love it because
I guess this is my first chance to kind of look back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mouse,
right
not
on.
a lot of people get to see how your mind works and how you look at things, and they only see snippets and stuff that might be on social media or the headbutt. They don't get to know you and how intelligent you actually are. You know, I've known you my whole, almost more than half my life, you know, and we get to have our conversations on the phone. And I always tell you, I'm like, dude, you know, it's kind of cool. You've got your mystique, but people need to understand you a little better, because there's brilliance there, man. There really is. There's so much brilliance in how you approach the game. And a lot of kids can benefit from learning from you, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I choose to be socially awkward with posting and just putting myself out there, because, dude, I'm solely focused on results and how I'm performing and helping my team and making it easier for them, whether it's on or off the field. And I'm at a point in my life, in my career, where I don't care if it offends people. I really don't.
Right.
Like, I didn't plan to take this podcast for you guys. No offense, but
now we know.
I do feel like
the listeners know too.
Especially so close to this next event. Like, I really like to be in solitude and find that mindset for myself, because I treat these things like a fucking gauntlet, a battle, and it's you or me out there, man. And I'm gonna bet on me every time, but I gotta make sure I'm prepared and in that right mindset. So I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm not taking the right steps and the strategy and the path that I know that will put me in that place.
I mean, we're gonna call it Goldman mentality. I was gonna say mama mentality, but dude, and I'll never forget, you know, we really formed a good relationship through Aftermath in 09 and have carried that all the way into the present here. But the conversations that we had about, you know, the game and how to approach it athletically and just hooping together, playing ball, going and training, doing all the things. It's all written in the details, you know, and you have come to a point in your career where you've got these details flattened the fuck out, and you know what it takes. And, you know, people who don't understand that, they gonna find out, you know what I'm saying? They gonna find out. So it's just about you doing you. And dude, we're just honored to have you know, not only as a friend, a competitor like you, because you bring the best out of people. You bring the best out of everyone. And you obviously, you know, your team, you bring the best out of the organization, companies, everything. And paintball, you know, if anybody out there listening wants to know how to be a top tier player, take some notes out of this guy's book, because he's done it just as good as you can do it, you know, damn near. I mean, you've won everything there is to win twice, and you're, you know, continuing the hunt. And we're just, you know, grateful to be able to be in the ring together and go at it, dude. It's fun. It's good times.
My dogs.
No, man, you guys are fucking awesome, dude, because I don't have a lot of friends, and I choose that, but I can completely say that you two are part of that, man.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
It's awesome, man. And I'm sorry if I ever cross that line on the field, and I'm sure I will again with you guys, but
hell, you already know.
You guys know at the end of the day, man.
Yeah.
We can still just fucking talk shit.
Yeah. I know.
Like, it's
water off the back these days, bro.
Absolutely. Well,
dude, we talked about it at Capital Edge the last time when we, you know, me and you would always go to set. I'm like, I know, bro. I understand, dude. This is, it's just paintball, bro. We fucking want to win.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Okay. So I feel like we got to the tail end of the timeline. I'm ready for some questions.
Perfect.
It is getting late.
Dude, it's late. It's late. It's past my bedtime. That's for sure. For the listeners, we went the distance on this one.
So let's get going.
Okay. Yeah, let's get going. Let's see. We've got, who was it that, okay. From Chris, he wants to know, out of all of the teams you've played on, who has been your favorite?
That's a tough one, man, because I have favorite moments in every team I've played for, whether it was a one-off tournament. I mean, that would be total disrespect to say one. And maybe I'm just answering it politically correct, but that's just from the heart, man.
It's Hulk, dude. Come on. It's Hulk.
Hulk.
It's Hulk. How is it not Hulk, dude? What are you thinking? Oh no, honey. What is you doing?
All right. Well, it's got to be Hulk then. So I got one from from Steve. He was wondering if you had the chance to start a team as the centerpiece, and it's fully funded, would you want to do something like that? Or do you prefer being, not so in the making of the puzzle and doing all the, pulling of the strings? Would you build a team like that?
It's tough, man, because where I'm at in my career, I just want to collect all the dubs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be taking, it would be a cool test. That's what Oliver did a couple times, right? He took the hard route and tried to reform teams. I always thought about that. But I also feel like that's not where I'm at in my career. I'm not trying to prove that to myself or anybody.
Yeah. I agree.
Enough. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Look, man, to be completely honest, Mouse, I don't have any questions. I really don't. You came on and were inspiring as hell, man, and had a great conversation with us. Usually I want to sit here and ask more stuff, but you already gave us so much of your time, man, and I'm super appreciative of it. Ty, if you do have another one, lay it on him. But for me, man, I'm done. I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your time, brother.
Yeah, dude. Yes, absolutely, Mouse. Thank you for every second, bro. I do have one that I would like to ask you about, just the importance of code calling for the listeners and like communication, and just how important that is at the highest level. Because I think that
everything.
It's
everything. From communication, just as a whole. That's how you break down points while you're in the point, and then the codes speeds up the process of information. So
that's the key right there.
The more codes you have and can understand when to use them and why, it simplifies the game for you. But that only is helpful for the amount of IQ you have out there. So if I were to give our code book to an amateur team, it would hurt them because they're going to sit in their bunkers and think about, oh, fuck, what am I supposed to call here? So you have to go at your own level. And for us being at the top tier level, we try to apply as many codes as we can for the right purposes. And I think, communication's everything. And the more codes you have shortens the length of the sentence that you have to come across with the teammate or across the field. So I think that explains itself.
Dude, that is everything, because those fractions of a second change the game. Yeah. Dude, Mouse, I cannot thank you enough for your time, bro. We can't wait to see you soon. And good luck with practice. I know you guys got more practice this weekend. And we love you, brother. Thank you for everything, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Nothing but love, guys. You guys are awesome, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Peace.
That was one of the best episodes that we have ever had. I don't know what else to say. Mouse is a legend. What an awesome, awesome, awesome episode. I want to go back and listen to it myself. It was just full of total inspiration, and Mouse really keeps it absolutely raw, real. He tells the truth. He's honest through and through. Dude is just absolutely dynamite. So thank you guys so much for supporting. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys could please head over to ptgpaintball.com and make sure to support the show. If you guys want, you can become a supporter by clicking the Patreon link, sliding over, and getting active in our Discord. Our Discord server is going off the chain. We're building an awesome community there. So check it out. And again, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys very soon.